Hi there, and welcome to the Call to Cinema. We have a very special guest here today. Hey, May, we're going over the Severin stuff. And if I've talked about anything on there before, I've talked about. So this is I'm not sure if it's the Ebert to my Sisker or the Cisco to my Ebert. We'll let him decide on that. So he's not only a really cool YouTuber and a good friend of mine, but he's an amazing filmmaker as well. So he's done a lot of stuff, including got to work with some kind of dream companies that I would have loved to dive into. So if I'm ever out your way, you got to put me in one of your films, like background or something like that. With that being said, let's welcome Master Chaos.
Hello, Aaron. Thank you for having me in Morocco today with you. I'm honored, man. It's been way too long, bud.
You got to shoot a film here, man.
I would love it. Oh my God, that would be a dream come true to be able to film on location somewhere one day. I'm planning something with a super pie in the sky, but we're looking at Spain. But that's gonna be a year or so down the line if it happens. But we'll see. We'll see.
That's pretty close. Like we drove out to this an area of like Spain. That's it's considered part of Morocco, but it's also considered part of Spain. But it is actually Spain. So we drove out there about a month ago, and it was utterly gorgeous. Like food was fantastic. The place was just got a unique vibe to it, and I want to fly into actual Spain. But it's been great. We got people that are excited for the Severin set. Are you excited for the Severin set?
I am. I am. I honestly am. I'm not excited for the pricing and the shipping, which I think the shipping is the elephant in the room.
I haven't seen it yet.
Well, I don't know if they sent out a big post, and maybe we'll talk about it when we get closer to the shipping. But they sent out a big post about when they expect to ship, and I don't know if people don't know that yet. That's probably going to burn a couple bridges when it comes to the sale.
So I'm not sure if it's been changed because I did mention that they look to ship this out tell me if they changed that in August because you want to get the amanuensis at first, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of expected it when it comes to that. So I'm not too bad with that because the Emmanuel set it's insane that set is coming out. Like it is utterly insane.
Sure.
But it's everything about the sale is one, both amazing and odd at the same time.
Yeah.
Because everybody expected, myself included, the halfway sale, which didn't happen. And it was like it was radio silent. And then all of a sudden, bam, we're doing the Severin summer sale. Which that's a fantastic idea. And great. And okay, well, is it just the titles? Like, and then there's no more announcements. And then there's like, here's the title that's on sale. I'm like, okay, so I guess they're going to do the rolling announcements that they always do. And luckily, that's what they did. But we had no way to know. I just feel like I love Severin and I love a lot of stuff they do, but they're great when it comes to the artistic side of things. When it's putting that box set together, when it's doing like those documentaries, when it's doing those acquisitions, they're fantastic with that. When it comes to the basic business aspects of it, like working with shipping companies, with working on public relations, which is it's what I'm trained for. That's the area where I think we're still missing out a bit.
Absolutely. I mean, look, I still don't have my Vinegar Syndrome halfway sale stuff. I don't have it. It's been a month about. That's not great. But they started shipping a week after the sale. Severin won't start shipping till a month after the sale. That's huge, which means you may not even get anything till September. That's not great. I think a lot of people are going to be, well, then I'll just wait for September, because it's not any of the new stuff is not going to be on sale. So it'll still be that price unless, they pull, last horror film and you can't get it anymore. But would be the only reason.
We'll get into that actually. But let's bring up the policies first, go through those. And I'll get your thoughts because I think this is our best place to start.
Let's do it. Thanks everybody for watching, by the way. I hope everybody's well.
I'm super excited. I'm going to put the things just so I see people's conversation stuff. Oh yeah, I guess I'm a bad YouTuber. Like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. You want to super chat or super sticker? Amazing. We got a special shout out that we do for that. And if you've been following the channel for a while, you know that, and it's a special ghost face cake that we do. And with that being said, what I really want you to do, guys, is I want you to have fun and enjoy the video, because that's the most important part.
Absolutely.
But like the video, because
And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll tell you about all the times I got to hang out with Doug Bradley. There you go. There's a little tease. Keep people hooked.
Exactly. And again, Pinhead himself. I got to meet him once at a convention. I'll say that at the end too, and I was so nervous. All right. But people had told me, had gave me warning things, and I was like, oh God, no. So we got the Severin Summer Sale includes 8 brand new titles, pre-order titles, we call them now. 4 limited mid-year sale bundles. We got 4 bundles this time, looks like. 50% off the SRP for most Severin Intervision titles, and brand new merchandise. Now, one thing people are going to say, we're going to go down there, and it's going to be like the same as before, like 6 months back, right? And there used to be like, oh, but Vinegar Syndrome does it like only so many months. Now it's pretty much the same in month-wise, because Vinegar Syndrome have been creeping back their months as well. So what's excluded? So releases from the past 6 months. So if you are looking to get Inferno Rosso, Drowning by Numbers, Extraterrestrial Visitors. Oh, hold on a second here. I got to open the door for my better half.
Oh, no worries. I'll fill in the dead air here. Inferno Rosso. What the hell is that? I'm not even familiar with that one. I'll have to ask Aaron. I'm not familiar with that. Drowning by Numbers, I didn't love. Extraterrestrial Visitors, I definitely want to get. I got to get me some Trumpy.
And it's not on sale.
Yeah, it's not on sale, but I will eventually get it. By the way, the Birdemic box set was super cheap on Amazon. So if anybody is interested in getting it, it's like ridiculously cheap, and it is the box set. It's not like packaged differently or anything. So that's what I did.
Only problem with that is you're going to have to watch Birdemic.
Yeah, here, you know what? The third one was so bad. I'm like, I'm never gonna watch this again. But then I saw that box set, and it was like around the time of my birthday, and I'm like, all right, I need this. I like bad movies. This I need to have this. So I grabbed it.
So what we got here? Comics, Complete Comic Strip presents Channel 4 films not on sale. Acción
Mutante.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The 5 days, Birdemic 3, Sea Eagle, and 3 Between the Sheets. All box sets, so there's no box set sale this time around.
That's weird. So the Acción Mutante and 5 days Blu-rays won't be on sale, but the 4Ks will? That's very strange.
It is. Did the 4Ks come out? Did the Blu-rays come out after?
Maybe that's the case, but that's super odd. Yeah, that's I don't know. I don't want to say shady, but I don't know. That's a little weird.
We got some heavily discounted merchandise. I got to say, out of the companies that do this, Severin are the best at discounting the merchandise. They have the best discounted merchandise, and it's not usually as limited as other companies.
Right.
Those Caligula dual box set's going to be there. Isn't that kind of on there already though? No Way Home.
I think so.
Enigma and Demonia. I'm not sure if there's other stuff. I don't see any mention of Four Flies and Grey Velvet here, or any mention of it. So maybe they can't bring that one back.
Well, I'll tell you what. I know you can buy Four Flies and Grey Velvet whenever you want. Apparently, all you have to do is email Severin and tell them you want it, and they will send you an invoice. I've heard of dozens of people doing it, so it's there. It's just like a secret menu item or something.
That's kind of cool, I guess. It's different. It's like the unique way to do it. So here we got. You're gonna say the title again here, because these are the ones on sale.
Go ahead.
These are the ones on sale for the first time.
Yeah. We get Acción Mutante, and then you take care of the rest.
5 days, 4K editions only. I Miss You, Hugs and Kisses. It's a double feature exploitation. The Devil's Game. That's that Maribaba one. Well, Maribaba's does one of the the stories on there. We have The Dogs. The next one is obviously going to be your favorite. and that is Jess Franco's Sex is Crazy.
It's terrible, terrible, awful.
I actually love Jess Franco, and I'm not going to disagree with this one. Actually,
No,
uh,
it's a
I,
bad
I
movie, man.
I love Jess Franco, but I'm not blind to when this stuff is done.
Good.
We got Blood on Melee's Moon, Blood for Dracula, Castle of the Living Dead, Crypt of the Vampire. A lot of these come from your favorite box set. Legacy of
Mm-hmm.
Blood, Faceless 4K and Blu-ray editions, The Female Executioner, The Shadowed Mind, Blood Hunt, Macumba
Mm.
Sexual, Mansion of the Living Dead, All About Evil, Libido, My Grandpa's a Vampire, Tales to Keep You Awake, The Plaga Zombie Trilogy, the 4K edition of The Changeling, Al Adams's Dracula versus Frankenstein, Double Target, Born to Fight, and Cop Game. That's all the stuff that's new that's going to be on sale, 50% off.
That's a lot. That's a lot of good stuff there too.
Is there anything that you need of them?
I mean, there's nothing really that I need, but I think I'm gonna grab Devil's Game and Dracula versus Frankenstein. I really loved the Plaga Zombie trilogy, but I don't think I need to own it. But that's really fun. I do recommend that. People like shot on video kind of wackiness. It's very early Peter Jackson. It's a lot of fun. All About Evil was really good too, but I don't think I need to own that. So yeah, maybe just Dracula versus Frankenstein and Devil's Game. What about you? Are you grabbing anything from this?
I don't know if I'll be able to grab anything this time, but
Mm,
recommendation wise, for me out here, I like The Female Executioner. I like that. I like that film. I don't have it yet, but I enjoyed that.
great.
Unlike you, I like Faceless because of what it is. I like Bridget
It
Leahy
grew on me. I'll say it grew on me.
and Libido. I don't know if I've seen it, but one thing I would recommend to people that don't have it is The Changeling. It's just one of my favorite ghost stories of all time. And if like you haven't seen it, my God, please own that in 4K. That's a really fantastic film. Peter Maddock did a great job with that one.
Mhm.
And the only thing scarier than the ghost is George C. Scott. So
He's frightening. In the chat, Joe Jack, I do recommend Female Executioner. I think it's phenomenal. It's a fantastic action picture. Do go grab that. That's
that
worth
was
your
one of your
money.
favorites. Like,
Yeah, it was
remember when
really
we were
great.
ready for the
Loved it.
prices? Are we ready for the prices?
Let's do it.
Okay. I want your thoughts on these, by the way.
Oh yeah, you'll get
Nightmare
them.
3-disc 4K UHD with a slipcover and booklet. So you got to keep that in mind. Kind of get slipcover
Mm-hmm.
and the booklet. $55, region free UHD, which it should be anyway, and region free Blu-ray as well. So one UHD, two Blu-rays, $55. What do you think?
That's a lot of bones. And after we saw Four Flies go to 55, we knew that was the new price, and they weren't going to back off of that. I'm glad it's not more than 55. But I look. Spoiler alert! I wanted all the 4Ks of this whole bunch, and like, oh, I'll get all of them. But doing the math, I mean, this is going to be incredibly expensive, almost stupidly expensive. $160, and that's not including tax, which I do get taxed here in California, and shipping. So, man, I don't know. That is a lot of money. That's a lot of money, and I could wait. I could wait for a sale because I don't think these will. At least Nightmare, I don't think will vanish.
I hope not. That's like out of all these here, this is one that people are excited about. I think kind of the most.
Mm-hmm.
But and I like Nightmare on Damaged Brain, but I don't think I'm at the level of like some people where this is the film. But I enjoy it. So Bad Biology 2-disc 4K UHC with a hardcover book, picture book, $49. I mean, for a hardcover book, okay.
I'll take it back. I didn't realize Bad Biology was also a 4K. I don't want this. This is. I love I love Hand and Lauder, but this is not a good movie. It feels like a student movie. It feels really rough and messy, and it's not as interesting as it thinks it is. I'm definitely not a fan of Bad Biology. So no, I'm not going to be picking this one up. I think $50 is kind of a lot, even with the hardcover book that no one really wants, and there's no other version. I'll get it with or without the hardcover book. But man, that's $50, man. And I mean, if Vinegar Syndrome can sell Showgirls at a cheaper price, I feel, from if memory serves me correctly, I think Bad Biology is more expensive than Showgirls. I don't think. I don't know I don't know what world we're living in. That doesn't make any sense to me.
And it was definitely, I guess it was a choice. Like, we're going to do Bad Biology. We're going to make a photo book with Bad Biology. Like, I have one photo, like kind of like a book that's got, it's got Blu-rays, and that's with No Eye. But that's one of my favorite films, and it's
Great.
actually writing on there. It's literally a coffee table book. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not the target for this one. Like, not at all. The Psychic, this is one I do like. 4-disc, 4K, UHD with slipcase and booklet. We're at the $55 range. Again, it is 4 discs, though. It's the biggest of the sets so far. So
yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Complete your thought.
Why? I mean, like, 4 discs is 55, but 3 discs is also 55.
It's weird, and let's quickly pay attention to their wording here. Remember the last debacle with the cardboard enthusiasts, as Severin was calling people, slipcover versus slipcase. They've gone out of their way to change two of the things here to say slip case. And David Gregory has confirmed, at least on Facebook, that last horror film will be a slip case. Now, the Psychic says slip case, but in the picture online that I'm looking at, it looks like a slipcover. So, I don't want it to be a thing where people are debating slipcase versus slipcover, but if they are on purpose splitting it up, slipcase, slipcover, then you got to deliver the slipcase, right? And they've got to know the difference, right? I mean, what do you think about that?
I mean, I'm not a person that's going to split hairs over slipcase and slipcover, but we've both been on those forums, and we know that we know the people that do.
Yeah. People care.
Yeah. But do I care if it's a slipcase or a slipcover? Not really. I mean, like, my preferred is always going to be like the hard box things that they did with those. Remember the Halloween Scream Factory put those out? I wish like if I'm going to pay $55 for something, put it in something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it was. Yeah, people didn't want just a regular slipcover. That's Four Flies was just a regular slipcover, but it looked thick in the picture, and I think people were expecting an Arrow type box set. So I hope that they've learned their lesson and understand that, look, you are catering to a collector market, and a collector market expects certain wording for certain things. If you promise a UHD, you got to have a UHD. Like, oh, well, we thought is the same as Blu-ray. No. You have to know the difference. So I'm hoping that's not an issue this sale, but it's something I'll definitely keep an eye out on, because you never know. And The Psychic is a fantastic movie. I actually just watched it for my first time. It's on Tubi.
Oh, really?
I loved it, but buyer beware. It is not a Lucio Fulci movie like you think a Lucio Fulci movie is going to be. There's one gore scene in the beginning, and that's it. This is a very slow-moving drama, detective thriller kind of thing, but it's incredibly compelling, and honestly, probably one of his best movies. That's not The Beyond, or one of those extreme movies. I think it's great, and I really want it, but man, $55.
Yeah, like 100%. Like, this is, for me, this is kind of a key piece. Is The Psychic, and it's a favorite of mine. But again, $55 is a lot for.
Yeah.
I like the fact that there's a CD. I like that we're going to get that, but because I love soundtracks. Okay, and here's the one that's only going to be available during the so far during that. So the last horror film, it's a 2-disc 4K UHD with a slipcase plus book, $49. One per customer apparently, and strictly limited for this sale because of their agreement with Trauma.
Mm-hmm. This is another really solid movie. One I actually revisited recently, just because I had the DVD for the longest time, and I was like, well, let me rewatch it, see if I want to upgrade, and I really like it. I think it's a solid movie. I love that it's set in the movie world, in the Cannes Film Festival. I love that. 49 isn't too bad, and because it's rare and kind of not going to be here for long, like Combat Shock, yeah, I think I'm going to grab this. What about you? Or, I mean, I don't know. I know you probably can't, but would it be something you'd grab?
Yes, like I would like the Psychic and Last Horror Film. If I was going to grab any of those, would be the two that I would get immediately. And here's the third: Private Crimes with Edward Fenech, directed by Sergio Martino's 2-disc Blu-ray, $20 region free. That's actually pretty good. $20 isn't a bad price for a 2-disc set, which seems to be
Yeah.
more like evenly priced than some of the other stuff up there.
Absolutely. I think $28 is kind of their regular price. And that's, I mean, if you think about it, $28 was a slipcover price, for Vinegar Syndrome, but this is without a slip. Private Crime sounds amazing. I kind of love long format stuff. So you got, what is it? 3-4 hour, no, I think it's more than 3 hours. So it's 4 or 5 hour miniseries here. That sounds phenomenal. I absolutely want to get this, but I think I'm going to wait for it to drop in price because I'm not in a hurry. I mean, even if I was, I'd have to wait till September to watch it anyway. So I'm gonna hold on.
Yeah, this is a very Twin Peaksian type of film. First, apparently, looks like the first Edward Fenech disc interview for maybe like 18 years. That's
Mm-hmm.
kind of cool. Journey to the Center of the Earth, which people often get confused to those Doug McClure ones, where I want to point out this is not that. This is one of the Italian knockoffs of that, though. And $20 region free, decent price for that. It's a Blu-ray. Definitely a good price. Any interest?
$20. Yeah, absolutely. I'd grab this. I'd even buy it during the sale. $20, I think, is a solid price. It looks like a movie that's right up my alley. Super, super cheesy, low budget, kind of science fiction-y fun. Jules Verne, good time. Hell yeah, $20. That's a good deal. The best deal probably of the whole damn sale.
The next two are going to be ones that I know you're going to want to get, and you're going to want to open them up and show Miss Chaos, because
Yeah.
honestly, family films, ones to watch together. The Inconfessable Orgies of Emmanuel with the exclusive slipcover. By the way, it said reversible slipcover. How does that work exactly?
I don't know. There were some pictures online, but I think they meant the insert, but I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, because if it's a slipcover, I'm kind of confused. Do we have to take it apart and put it back together? $25. This is a decent price for this one, though, if you like the film. The best, though, and I love the way they did the slip for this one, is The Sexual Story of O. It's a Jess Franco film. This one's $25. They're decently priced for these here. It's got a slipcover. What's wonderful is it's got Lena Romay on the slipcover. So when this movie was promoted initially, Lena Romay and Jess Franco weren't exactly making films together at that time. She was doing stuff on her own. So Lena Romay is not actually in the film, but promotional work went out for The Sexual Story of O with Lena Romay on it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're kind of like, honoring that, and they put Lena Romay on the slipcover. She's not in the film, guys. She was not. It's a joke. It was, that's kind of one of the things. It was a joke. She was in the promotional work for the movie itself. It's kind of a deep cut for a joke, but that's how it goes.
That's crazy.
So okay. This and not gonna lie, didn't expect this. So a Joe Spinell plushie doll. I think here, what we needed was one of those. It's got to have some type of like sweating ability. He's like the sweatiest actor in the world. Come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, would you buy Joe Spinell's plushie?
I would, except you can't unless you buy a bundle. So, I'm probably not going to be getting a Joe Spinell plushie doll. unless I just buy the bundle for last horror film, which is probably looking more likely now. But then also if it looks like crap, I don't know that I want it. But I mean, it kind of should look like crap. It's a Joe Spinell doll, so I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna wait to see what it looks like before I decide. What about you?
I wish. Like I love this stuff. This is the type of stuff like the Trumpy, like plush
Yes.
figure, the Joe Spinell plush doll. You know, these kind of collectibles are they're me. Like if I
Hmm.
could, I would have all this if I could afford this, especially a Joe Spinell one. Oh my God, yes. Um, yeah, I haven't seen it yet. It'll be interesting to actually see what it looks like. I'm not sure if the pictures are up yet for that one, but I do have some pictures up for the films, and we'll go through all the features because I got those up here as well. We got a Carolyn Monroe enamel pen, which is fantastic. I love their enamel pens. This is one place I got to say they're inexpensive. And the first time I saw them, because they were so cheap, I thought they were going to be kind of like shoddy. But there's a nice like heft to them when you're putting them together.
Hmm.
We got a Joe Spinell enamel pen, so I'm going to guess this is all part of that bundle.
Hmm.
And a Frank Henenlotter enamel pen, if you want to buy that fantastic film there. This I didn't know. Okay, this one's new to me. The Psychic Music Box. Oh wow, this wind-up music box plays a simple yet haunting melody from Virginia's Vision and the Psychic. 600 units. This is it's only $15. Is that right?
That's pretty cheap.
That's like really cheap. I expected that to be a lot more expensive actually.
Hmm. That's
Nightmare
interesting.
novelization. Do you want this?
No, I like the movie and I like Michael Gingold, but I don't think I want to read a book, a novelization of it. To be honest, I haven't read any of them. I had Cruel Jaws, but I didn't. I read like 20 pages. I had no interest in continuing. So no, I don't think I'll be reading this.
Mm, Again, like I like the film, I don't like it enough to have a novelization of it. And I know it's
Hmm.
not Brad Carter, I know it's Gingold this time, so but still, nah, not really. Severin
Yeah,
Video 2000 T-shirt, $15. Always putting some new T-shirts. That's nice.
yeah. I don't know what that's a reference to. Tribute to distribution company World of Video. Oh, okay. I have no connection to that, so that means nothing to me.
Yeah, me either, actually. Oh, but wow, my better half is going to love this. The original soundtrack vinyl of Things. What music is in that movie? I can't remember any. Like I really can't.
It's like a nightmare, I'm sure.
You've got 4 brand new stickers. I've seen the Trumpy one. It's so weird to call it
Hmm.
extraterrestrial visitors because I know it is pod people. I'm an
Yep.
MST3K guy.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
Glow in the dark Severin logo enamel pin. So now the
Hmm.
bundles. This I haven't seen. This I haven't seen anything of, so I don't know prices. You do, right?
I do.
The Everything is Everything bundle, limited to 350, our biggest bundle of the sale. This will include all 8 brand new Severin summer titles, as well as the Joe Spinell plush doll, the Psychic music box, Severin Video 2000 T-shirt, all 3 brand new enamel pins, $350.
That's bonkers. That's bonkers. And you still have to pay shipping on top of that. Well, you probably get free shipping, but then they might say, "Oh, you should probably pay more so that it'll ship safer or something." Like we'll take more care of it if you pay more or something.
It's
I
like
don't know, man.
it's like with Screen Archives when I used to order from Screen Archives every single time. So I'd get my order down, and I would like pick the cheap shipping, and I'd have this huge red lettering warning come up. You know, if you choose this shipping, we cannot be held responsible for you getting your order, uh, which always freaked me out. I'm like, and I get my order every time, like really quickly from Screen Archives, but I always hated that. Hated it.
Yeah. No, they try to high pressure you into paying more, and it's just I don't know. It's just I don't love it. I don't love that.
Uh, yeah, I don't. There's not enough here for me to grab this for $350. Guys, let us know if this is like something you're going to grab for $350. The Damaged Brain bundle. So this is where the Severin Video 2K comes in, right? So we got the Nightmare 4K UHD, as well as the novelization and the Severin Video 2000 T-shirt, $75. Well, you get a book and a T-shirt in the movie. So, okay.
Yeah, but if you don't want the book or the T-shirt, then that's like $20 for nothing.
We got the Joe Spinell. Here's a better one, because you get it's $89. It's more expensive, but you get both those enamel pins. You're gonna get the last horror film in 4K with that special. With, by the way, also that special slipcover, which, yeah, who does these slipcovers better than Severin? They do these. This is something they do well. And the Joe Spinell plush doll that you can cuddle into at night. There you go. Cuddle into Joe Spinell. The Just the Next bundle, $265 for the movies. No, none of the swag included. Have they changed the shipping?
I'm sure they have.
So for free shipping, it's $100 and over for United States residents. That's not too bad for you guys. 150 US Canadian. But here's the thing. This is the thing I will always say to anybody when they're looking at a Severin sale is this: never go into a Severin sale feel like if you're going to buy one movie. If you want one movie, this is not the sale for you, because their shipping doesn't allow for buying one or two movies. A Severin sale is when you want to either get a bundle, get a few films, load up on a bunch of stuff that has just gone on sale for the first time. This is what a Severin sale is for. This isn't like we're Vinegar Syndrome, where you can have like $10 shipping, and it just, no matter where you're at in the world, it ships fairly cheaply. Severin's shipping's expensive, so going into this, you got to be saying, okay, I want to buy this. I want to get like at least $100 every year. So I want at least $150. The ones that get kind of screwed over a little bit more are the international, because they have to reach $200. And at $200, it's not free shipping. It's after $200, it's a flat fee of $25 shipping. So I guess that's better. Now, it used to be in Canada, like I know last year, it was $150 US, and then it went to a flat, I think, 15 or 20. So the fact that it's free shipping after 150 now, because I don't think it was last year, that's a good thing. That's a step closer. Hey there, Gino. Welcome. And yes, I did not forget the Sinful Dwarf plushie. They picked the weirdest thing to make plushies of.
They do.
And December said they're going to end up spending around $450 to $600.
Be careful. This isn't the only game in town. There's a lot on sale, and real sales, by the way. We can talk about that.
We will, because that news dropped just right after. And as far as I know, like Severin and Vincent have a good relationship, a fairly good relationship.
Yeah.
But it almost seemed like Vincent just came in, grabbed Severin's ball and kicked them hard.
Yeah.
It was, I know they planned it ahead of time. It's their 10th year anniversary. So, and I'm definitely not going to complain a bit more sales. But I can see it being like a worrisome thing for Severin.
Oh, sure. And not only those two companies, there's two other companies that have sales all through July that
I know Criterion, right? Is one of them.
Criterion, it starts on the 30th. So in the States, Barnes & Nobles will have their 50% off Criterion sale. And now there's a Kino sale. So those are two companies that actually have major discounts for actually solid movies. That just make sure you're spending your money, because that is a precious resource.
Yeah, like Kino used to have free shipping; they don't anymore, which is one of the reasons that kind of took me off Kino for a while. Kino's one of my better half's favorite companies to buy from. She loves their stuff. One thing I will say is that for the Vinegar Syndrome sale, the 7 days that they're doing with different titles and all that, it's either going to succeed or fail on the first day because it's a compound sale. And compound sales are either really good or they suck because it's a sale where it's not just a blanket, okay, this much off. It's like you buy so much to get so much. But if the amount that you have to buy is too high to get like a decent discounted price, and that's going to sabotage the entire rest of the sale the next 6 days.
Well, yeah, and it's do we want to table this when we're talking about Vinegar Syndrome? Because I have a follow-up question that maybe you can answer, but I don't know if we should wait and get it over with Severin and then deal with Vinegar Syndrome when we have it in front of us.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay.
So what we'll do then, we'll go through, because there's a list now of everything that's out there. I've brought up all the titles, and I got here to somewhere the list of all the features that's in everything. So this is it's gonna mute me for a second. I got to get this brought up. You can talk away.
No worries. Hello, everybody in the chat. By the way, Alan, I did see your comment. Alan asked, will someone officially release Deodato's Dial Help on DVD? I don't know. On DVD, probably not. I don't think anybody's doing just DVDs nowadays, but I actually don't know that movie. I've heard the name. I've never seen it, though, so I can't help you, or I don't know anything necessarily in the history of that movie, if that's going to happen or not. But hopefully, if it's a movie you like, hopefully you'll get it, and we'll be able to rediscover it that way. What are you guys thinking about these bundle prices? I can't move Aaron's screen, but I'll look at the bundles real quick. So $350 for everything. That includes a T-shirt that I don't know how many people are really going to get. Like, oh, I know what that is. 100% need that. There's the 3 enamel pins, which I do nothing with pins. They would just sit around. The music box is cool, especially if you've seen the movie. The music box is very integral. At least the notes of that are very integral. The Damaged Brain, pardon me, the Damaged Brain bundle. Again, you get the book and the shirt for $20 extra. That doesn't really do anything for me. I don't want any of that. The Joe Spinell bundle is one of the only thing I really, really want. And mainly because I want the movie, and I know that's probably not going to be available after this. But again, it's not a movie that's going to look amazing on 4K, so keep that in mind. It's not going to be a beautiful 4K movie. It's a very rough-ass looking movie. And it shouldn't look beautiful. So 4K, I don't think that's going to like make it look incredible. The Joe Spinell doll, it really depends on what that looks like. And again, it comes with those pins, which doesn't do anything for me. Then the Just the Disc bundle is $265. I did the math. Let me get my calculator up here. If you bought all the movies by themselves, it'd be about $306. So you save $50, about $50. I don't know. We'll see.
How we doing?
We're good. We're discussing the bundles and the whether we think they're worth it or not. I'm leaning towards no thanks.
There's bundles that I've liked. The Al Amson bundle was one of my favorites, and there's bundles that I can pass. And for these here, aside from like having the, there's a lot of stuff I can pass for this here. I like to have a Joe Spinell plushie, but I think I can live.
Yes. Same. And like the thing with the Trumpy, I wanted that Trumpy, but man, I didn't want that T-shirt. And I'm like, I think I'm just gonna let it. And I was hoping Trumpy would be alone, but no, Trumpy disappeared. Maybe he'll come back one day. We'll see.
At another sale. So we got Bad Biology right here. I've got the features up here that are on this one. We got on the UHD, we got a commentary with Henenlotter, director of photography Nick Deeg, and actor Anthony Sneed. There's an archival commentary with Frank Henenlotter, producer R.A. Thorburn. The Blu-ray, we get the commentary, the archival commentary, Spook House, which is a kind of like a making of interview thing. In the Basement with Charlie Danielson, brief, completely off kilter interview with the elusive Miss Anderson. It's the only movie she ever made. I think she went into like music or something afterwards.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So Deeg and Sneed conversation. We get Swollen Agenda interview with makeup effects artist Gabe Bartalos. Um, behind the bad, behind scenes, and interview with photographer Clay Patrick McBride. Guys, you want me to swear or anything on here? Super chat, because that's the only because I'll lose my sponsorship stuff and lose my sponsor. It's me. I'm my sponsor. We got Suck, a wonderfully twisted film by Anthony Sneed, Legendary Loser, a music video, and an image gallery. So there's a bunch of stuff. If you're a fan of bad biology, that's it's a thing.
That's the way to go if you're a fan. But ugh.
We got here the fun journey to the center of the earth. I don't think there's anything like actually kind of negative I can say. It's a fun little one. The feature wise, this is directed by Juan Picar Simon, who did such classics as Slugs and Pieces, and of course Pod People, otherwise known as Extraterrestrial Visitors. So that's Simon as well. So this has an interview with his daughter Isabel Picard. We get an interview with the star Ivan Sentis, and we get an interview with the co-writer Carlos Puerto. So we got a nice reversible wrap on here. I do like the artwork on this. I think it's got like has that feel of those kind of Doug McClure, kind of cheesy Journey to the Center of the Earth type of movies.
Why do you think that they hate slipcovers? Because I feel, I know for a fact, I know one person, Bullet Blake, would buy everything that had a slipcover on it. And there's stuff, like Cop Game and Born to Fight and all that stuff. Why don't they put slipcovers on everything? Why don't they realize everybody's doing that? Why aren't you? It feels weird to me. It's almost like they're like bucking a trend for some reason.
That's exactly what it seems like. Is you ever go onto like one of those like pages and where somebody will come in and they'll post ripping up my slipcover today because I want the movie.
Right.
Well, that's nice. But obviously, a slipcover doesn't mean anything to me. It meant enough for you to make this post.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just trolling, is what you're doing. This is part of the Severin Kids line, and what that means is basically nothing, because Severin Kids has some pretty twisted stuff in the Severin Kids line. But this one, does I think kind of fit there. If I was like a kid and this came on TV, I would be all over it. I'm an adult. This came on TV, like I'd definitely be all over it. This is the type of film I kind of enjoy watching in my spare time. I like these kind of like cheesy, fun monster like flick films where they're just in the they find a lost land type of thing. I love this type of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's probably not going to be amazing, but it looks like it'll be entertaining.
It's Simon. Simon's
distraction.
Like is fun. It's like, who else could put in a movie called Slugs and it'd be good? Mm-hmm. Because I like Slugs. Nobody was more surprised that Slugs was an entertaining movie than me when I was watching Slugs. Because I expected it to suck, man. Really did. All right, we can't give this on screen real line, but you can see that's Lena Romay right there. She's not in the movie.
Nope.
This girl is, however. Inconfessible Orgies of Emmanuel, like web store exclusive slipcovers. We got slipcovers there. Some for Bullet Blake, man.
There you go. There's something.
Will he buy the Jess Franco slipcovers? He probably will.
I don't know. I don't know that. I think he's kind of pissed at Severin in general just because of their pricing. But yeah, I don't know. Yes, but like, okay, somebody in the chat said that he asked Severin about the slipcovers and they said licensing. So how did they get the license for this? Be like, okay, can we? But it's just weird. Like, why would you need a license to put, cardboard over it? It's very odd. It's packaging. Packaging shouldn't be. I mean, unless you're calling the movie a piece of shit, I don't think licensing would get in the way of covering it. I don't know.
You got some interesting like alternate artwork here. I'm going to guess you mean insert and not slipcover, because that makes sense.
Yeah.
As always, like the best part of some of these films, and I'm not going to lie, is going to be the Stephen Thrower interviews, which you're going to get on both of these, and you're going to get some archival interviews from Jess Franco that was on the original DVD releases as well. So there's that. So if you're a Jess Franco fan, uh, these are better than Sex is Crazy, though you are missing out on the Lena Romay factor. So there's that. This one is way more interesting to me. This is one that I do find intriguing. It's private crimes. You can see it's very Twin Peaksian in the way the ad's done. That's on purpose. So Edwidge Fenech produced this film, or company produced this. This was her comeback with Sergio Martino, who had pretty much like discovered her. She after all, she dated like Sergio Martino's brother. And we got a commentary with Kat Ellinger on the first part of this. So love me some Kat Ellinger commentary. That's going to be fantastic. We got an interview with Edwidge Fenech. And here's the interesting thing. We got a second disc. Giallo and Luca interview with director Sergio Martino. It's the only thing on that disc. So that leads me to believe that this is a massive interview. Or like a career-spanning interview. This is what I would expect. If that's your only feature, I don't think it's going to be a 20-minute thing. I think it's going to be like an hour and a half, 2 hours long, something around there. What do you think?
Well, it is a miniseries. The miniseries is 351 minutes, so I'm guessing it's split between two discs.
Oh, for sure.
And yeah, so the only special feature on there that they could probably find was a Martino one or whatever that they. So I'm guessing, obviously, you would want to split it up. That doesn't necessarily bode for it being very long, but it could still be. I mean, it could still be pretty lengthy, but you never know. You never know.
Like, I hope for a bigger one, but okay, here we go. I think this is going to sell a lot. I think the slipcover is going to sell a lot.
Yeah.
Even though the slipcover has zero to do with this film. It's okay. It still looks super cool. It is the fully restored version, 5+ hours of special features, a ton of stuff on this one right here. We get an audio commentary with Carol Monroe and Alan Jones. We get a second audio commentary with Joe Spinell's assistant, Luke Walter. I got asked recently on a stream, or maybe it was after a stream, like, why do they put out like featurettes with assistants or with behind the scenes people rather than the stars? And more exciting to get like the actual stars of the films. For me, hey, no. The best stories are always the people that are a little bit kind of distanced. The editor of the movie, God, what's it? The one with Ricky Lake and
Skinner.
Thank you. The editor interview is the best thing on that. Because these dudes stuff. Oh, we got our first shout out thing. So you know what happens here, man. You put it up on the screen, and what else comes up on the screen? Ghostface. That's amazing.
What? So, what was in that? What kind of cake was it?
Tiramisu.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's right. That's right. You mentioned that before. Amazing.
That's my art secret, which is my. Did I pronounce it right? Secret. Better?
Yeah.
Okay. Which is her sister's kind of business. She makes cakes and like high-end
Beautiful
stuff. So that's the one that made her gasp when they announced it.
Absolutely. I mean, look, this was announcement 6, and before then, I think everybody was kind of like, meh, all right, I don't know. It was the last one before this was Private Crimes, and people were like, okay, yeah, I guess I'll wait for a sale. But this was the one you're like, okay, they came to play, now they're not messing around. This is a serious title. So I agree. This is the one that really got me excited. I love that they do these unofficial slipcases, and the fact that this is going to be rare for just this sale absolutely is going to sell like hotcakes.
And worth it. I mean, like, this is one that I do think is super worth it to pick up. I know it's pricier, but this one, people forget, this one includes a 100-page book as well. So this is going to be a fun little one. And here's the thing. When this was announced, I thought it was the end. I thought,
Mm.
okay, this is as good as it can get with this. There's nothing's going to top this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be honest. I know everybody's big on Nightmare. I do think that this could have been the one that could have ended. They could have
Yeah.
ended, easily ended up.
Yep.
And yes, that does say Maniac 2, by the way, for those that are wondering.
It
You
has
know,
no connection, by the way. None
no,
at all.
no, like there was like Joe Spinell for years tried to get a Maniac 2 done. The closest was this kind of short proof of concept film called Mr. Robbie, which never got made. More than likely, I'm gonna get. Well, we'll check it. I'll see if the features are on here because I know it was on my. Do you have the True Masterpiece edition? Is that when you got to for last horror film?
I don't remember what it was, but it was a DVD. It must have been from Trauma.
Yeah, like I
Um,
picked out one
yeah.
up from Trauma, and it was like it's. I'll be honest, like I love Trauma, but anytime you see like an upgrade from a Trauma and you've got it and you've got a Trauma, it's
Mm-hmm.
like DVD and you're like, yeah, I desperately need to upgrade that because the quality of the DVD is not always the greatest. We get aside from that, we get a second Blu-ray disc here with we get the commentaries on that interview with Sal Surshia, audio interview with producer Judd Hamilton, plus all new producers cut. That's actually kind of cool. Last horror film, New York and Cannes locations visits with Michael Gingold and David Gregory. And the
That's
thing that
cool.
excites me is the 100-page book. Extended interviews. So I find that exciting. So this is
And
the
look,
one for me.
here it says extremely unofficial slip case. It looks a lot thicker in that picture. So
It does.
I'm hoping it'll be like an actual, like a book that you can package together like the Arrow releases. Let's hope
Yeah,
that's what that means.
like 100, like just by the look of it, that's what it has to be. Like the book
Right?
has to be something you can put in there. Like it's just I expect it. Like this is your favorite.
Mm-hmm. Classic.
But I expect it to be, the book to be kind of like this,
Yes.
put in
Yeah.
inside.
That's the best thing in that box set.
How can you not love the torture chamber, Dr. Sayers? Come on.
No, that is the
That's
best movie in that set. That's the best movie in that box set. Um, but yeah, I mean, the book doesn't really do much for me. I don't know that I want to read a book about it, but I will suggest if you guys want or have any interest and you're not sure about spending $55, track it down. What the hell did I see it on? Was it on? Yeah, it's on Tubi. It's on Amazon Prime as Fanatic. Don't look up Last Horror Film because you won't find it, but it's called Fanatic. And you'll know it instantly as this movie. Watch it. Give it, TBYB, like I say. Try before you buy it because, man, $55, you don't want to go blind into something and then feel really, really bad about wasting money.
But has anybody ever like wasted money when it comes to Joe Spinell? Come on. it's
Well,
always
it
called
depends.
Undertaker. Like, I love the Undertaker. Oh,
That is a good movie.
you did get like you got a question here, man. Somebody's putting you on the hot seat. Matt is putting you on the hot seat. So he said,
Oh,
ask MC about his harsh review of Scream the Demon Lover. You thought it was really well made, and how do you invest it?
Scream of the Demon Lover. I'm gonna have to revisit. I will pay full price when I think it deserves it. So I bought that box set. Scream of the Demon Lover. The version I saw was on YouTube. It was a TBYB, and it didn't do anything for me. But I got the box set, so I will watch the restored version, or at least the better looking version, and see if that changes my mind. But everything else in that box set is amazing. I love that entire. I want to see more Dunce Macabre box sets coming from them. But that movie I thought was kind of boring.
Sometimes it's like when you see it too, right?
Yeah, it's maybe true. It might change my mind. I mean, maybe the psychic, which is you're bringing it up here. This may work differently on different people. It is a very slow movie, and if you're expecting people vomiting guts, and Isla zombies, you're not going to get that. This is very much like think of Don't Look Now. It's very
Right.
much a slow moving kind of creepy psychic thriller. Not even creepy. There's really nothing creepy about it. But the ending is really powerful. And I
I
think
think
the journey is compelling.
definitely, and I think it is unsettling. Like as you go through, especially when you get to the end of the film. I think
Hmm.
there's an unsettling aspect to it, and that I really like. I love this film, and it is so like atypical of what you expect from
Hmm.
Lucio Fulci, and that may be
Yeah.
one of the things that I like about it. And I think the psychic, you're going to put this with it with another like film, like one on top of the other. What's the other title for that one? I got it here somewhere actually, but it was like an earlier film that he did. It was very much like a standard thriller, but
Mm.
put it by Mon Macabre. So a lot of features on this one though. We got like nothing on the UHD, just a trailer. But we got
Hmm.
like we got two Blu-rays and a soundtrack. But the two Blu-rays are stacked. We start off an interview with Dardano Siacci. We get selected scene commentaries on here as well. Audio interview with
Hmm.
camera operator Franco Bruni. We get an audio interview with Massimo Lentini. We get an interview here with Bruno Micheli. It's close to that. we got a, this is where it gets really good. We got a 2021 Fulci Talks like documentary. It's 83 minutes long with an extended interview with Lucio Fulci. I've never seen this documentary before. I'm actually very interested in this. We get sophisticated with interview with actress Ada Jali. We get an interview with Gianni Garco. I always love his stuff, so that'd be interesting to check out.
Mm.
Interview with cinematographer Sergio Savati. 7 notes for a trio interview with composer Fabio Frizzi. Take a drink for guys every time I mess up a name. It's a wonderful drinking game for videos on my channel. Uh, okay, we get a interview with co-composer Franco Bixio. We're gonna go with that. Interview with co-composer Vince Tempera. I can do that one. And a live studio session performance of the Psychic Suite. And the fourth disc comes with a booklet, by the way, and it's a CD soundtrack.
Mm.
So loaded up. I love the look of this, the way this is done. This looks like
Hmm.
it says a slip case. I think it's like a slip cover to me. It looks like a slip cover.
It looks like a slipcover, yeah. And I think it actually says it. I'm gonna look in the policies real quick. I'm pretty sure this one says slipcover. But there's a lot in there that let's see. Where the hell did I go? Okay.
And
The psychic is a oh it says no psychic is slip case, but it does look like a slipcover.
and you know what? When you go to yeah and yeah, it's a slip case. Now, what does say slip cover is probably going to be the next one we look at, and that is
Hmm.
Nightmare. For the longest time, I didn't remember this film. So there was this movie and called Terror in the Isles, and they showed
Hmm.
scenes from all these other horror films, right? And like some films that weren't even horror films. And one of the scenes they showed was this like dude with this creepy mask on coming up behind this girl and kind of like doing the throat slit, which is from this film right here. And I was trying to remember what this was from I knew I'd seen the movie, but for the longest time I could not remember it. This is when I got to rewatch. I haven't seen it since I bought the Blu-ray back in London years ago. So this is one I'd have to check out again to see exactly if this is something that I want.
Hmm.
Like I'm a documentary whore, and there's a brand new feature-length documentary on here, so that gets me. That always gets me. But what do you think of this one?
I'm familiar with the film. It's been a while since I've seen it. I kind of want it. I feel like this is something I need in my collection. Honestly, none of the special features do anything for me. I don't know anything about David Hamilton Grant, so I don't know that I want to see a feature documentary about him. Um, the four rare Hamilton productions are all short films. I don't really watch short films anymore. I'm not interested in them. If you are, that's fantastic. But the movie itself is something I think I'd like to own. But I have a feeling this isn't going to go anywhere for a while. So I'll wait till the next summer sale and pick it up then. I think.
It's one that I love. I do think that it has one of the worst covers and they didn't make it. Now
Hmm.
it's like the cover with the little kid and the guy and the tube. That I've always hated that cover. uh, but that's why you can switch it around. That's why you got that nice little amazing cover. We get like the Nightmare of Nightmare. We get a 71-minute interview with the directors. That's a damn long interview. We get 2 audio commentaries.
Mm.
One of them with Dave Dakota actually moderating it. Uh, Nightmare of
Wow.
Nightmare basically talking with Tom Savini, who was erroneously credited with special effects. So that's a bit of a stretch for like let's interview the person that didn't do the special effects but was accidentally credited with doing the special effects. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Right.
Open mat peep show sequence. Barely remember that.
Oh yeah.
We get a 71-minute documentary on David Hamilton Grant. And actually, most of these are nicely, not too bad. Like you got a 55-minute short film. That's pretty long. 53 minute, and kind of a 9-minute one. So
Not doing
okay,
anything. Man. Oh, by the way, GK fan in the chat says on Facebook they posted that this has 9+ hours, but here it says 5. So another thing I think we've noticed is that Severin seems to have different people saying different things. And that's what led to the slipcover slipcase debacle back in the day. So I'm hoping they can clamp down on that and make sure that everybody's drinking the same Kool-Aid and we're all saying the right thing, because you know uh,
it's
everybody has, you have to say the
it,
publicity. You have to make sure when you're promoting something, you know what you're promoting, you're doing it correctly.
yeah. It's both are correct because 5+ and 9+. You know, it's obviously going to have more than 5+. But if you just look at the time on the things, it is 9+ like hours. So
Mm,
not hard to figure that one out. Because when you look
but
at like,
still, people aren't going to add that up. I think it's better to just say have one number, stick with it, move on.
but yeah, it's been was, and we have a book. Here it is
Yeah.
right here, the novelization, which is great. That's fantastic that they're doing that. But so overall, there's bundles there. Have you made a decision? Like as we've been looking at this, have you rethought anything? Have you like decided on what you wanted to get? Have you rethought like a possibility of a bundle? Do you want to just get certain films?
If they said just a 4K bundle, I mean, well, that would include Bad Biology, which I don't want. But if they said, get Nightmare and Psychic and Last Horror Film, at a discounted rate, I would have grabbed that.
Yeah,
As it is, I'm probably just gonna get Last Horror Film and maybe a couple of older things, and wait till the next go around, because I'm Criterion's my favorite label, so I'm gonna be spending money with them. The Vinegar Syndrome sale, is I don't know how much that'll do, for me in terms of having to spend money, because I got most of the stuff, the older stuff, and the new stuff is going to be way too expensive for purchasing outright. So I'm going to save my money for Criterion and Kino, and pick and choose here and there. But when we talk about Vinegar Syndrome, that may change my mind in terms of what I spend. But for here, I think Last Horror Film 100% is coming home with me. And if I'm feeling generous, I'll probably grab Private Crimes and Journey at full price, and then wait on everything else.
the thing is, there is the Vinegar Syndrome sale, and we are going to look at that here in a second. I'd say because it costs you $55 for Nightmare, 55 for the Psychic. It's 110 right there. Another 49 for Last Horror Film. That'd be perfect for me. One, if I had money, because that was
Yes.
150 mark, right? And that's the 3 best titles, in my opinion, that are there
Mm-hmm.
for the sale. I think the Last Horror Film. I'm going to make a prediction that the Last Horror Film is going to be the best-selling title in this sale because of that slipcase. That it'll be
Yeah.
the best-selling title in this for the sale. I think Nightmares are going to be very exciting to a lot of people. I think people are going to buy the Psychic, but not everybody's going to be as excited as you and I are, or some people are going to be excited and buy it, and they're going to be like they were with Thriller and expect something that it's not. People
Right.
went in like to Vinegar Syndrome's Thriller, or Cruel Picture, and I think they expected it to be way more explicit than it actually was. So a lot of
Right.
people who actually saw the film were kind of like, "Wait a minute, isn't this supposed to be like super intense?" Well, there's a level of intensity, but it's not. It's not Last House on the Left,
No.
and or it's not a Spit in Your Grave either. Like it's definitely more of a pared down one. Um, and one, you got to be a fan of that actress too. I find for that film. For Lucio Fulci's The Psyche, I think it's a wonderful film, but if you're going to go in there, like you mentioned here a few times, and you expect to see like zombie fight shark, or you're expecting to see eye injury, or even like even the tamer portions of like House by the Cemetery or New York Ripper, you're not going to see that. That's
Yeah.
not what this is. It's definitely Fulci showing his his aptitude to just like kind of to rein it in and do a different type of
Hitchcock.
film. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do a very Hitchcockian style film, and I love this movie. And I remember watching this with some friends and talking about like our thoughts on where we thought the ending was and where it went, because it is. I think there's a little bit of ambiguity to it, and it's like when you watch Trauma on Forgotten Jolly Volume One. Like Trauma's not the best film in the world, but it's interesting. And the most interesting thing about Trauma for me is the ending of that film, because the ending of Trauma, all of us just realigns everything else in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And now Psychic doesn't do it to that extent, but it got us talking. Like I'll say that.
Oh
So
yeah.
I want your thoughts on this. This is big. Um, Vinegar Syndrome like came and they took the ball and they knocked it out of the park with this. So we got
Yeah.
to stuff.
We knew this was coming. They had announced this happening, even during their halfway sale. Hey, you're not going to subscribe now, but you can do it in July, which is odd to me, because you talked in the beginning about how Severin didn't really say anything about their halfway sale. Then all of a sudden, hey, here's 6 movies, let's go. They're like, whoa, 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 what, you guys came out of nowhere. So I feel this. We knew about Vinegar Syndrome's thing. We knew this was 100% happening, and I almost feel like Severin's sale was a little haphazardly thrown together. Like we never got, yeah, like you said, it was radio silence. We got nothing. Hey, this is coming up. Stay tuned. Blah blah blah. Nothing until 2 weeks, 3 weeks before.
Yeah.
So, in a way, a Vinegar Syndrome, isn't necessarily stealing any thunder, because they've told us this 4 months that this was happening, and
Though they
the
didn't say
only
this
weirdness. They didn't say this extensive, no, but they did say it would be about a 7-day event, and that it would be, that there'd be sales and special releases every day. So it's basically a mini subscriber week.
Yeah.
But the one thing that's throwing me off is the compounding discount. So let's talk about that, because it doesn't make any sense to me.
So compounding discounts is going to be, like I said, like this is either going to make it an amazing sale where everybody feels like they're getting a good deal, or it's going to be the opposite, where people are going to feel like this isn't worth it. Now,
Right.
I feel that there's going to be times when a compound discount is going to seem better than others, and we'll go through the days, and I'll actually point out the ones like, spoiler alert, the box set in 4K days, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But as for how well this will do for like standard or just regular limited editions, it's going to depend on how they do this. Because a compound discount sale can mean, okay, you buy 2 movies, you get like 15%. But then you got to buy like 5 or 6 to get like the 50%, or get like the kind of the real, like real discount where it actually makes it worth it for you to pick it up. So like if I got to buy 2 or 3 movies, I'm only going to get 10 or 15% off. That's not worth it. Like if I got to buy like $150 worth of movies to get to get a decent discount, then how is that different from me having to spend $150 to buy and get free shipping from Severin?
Right. And what is compounding exactly? Are we compounding just the day, or all 7 days? So if let's say you buy something every day, does that mean the discount stacks up, all the 7 days, or is it only compounding for that particular window of that day? So if you
That's a
only buy
good
two
question.
things, that's the thing that throws me off. Like if you let's say day one, a discount of Blu-rays with slipcovers. Let's say you only buy two, but you get, I don't know, let's say 20% off. Then the next day you say, "Oh, great, cool, box sets, awesome. I want to buy a box set," but now the discount restarts and you don't get necessarily 20 or whatever 30% off or whatever it is. So that's what's confusing to me when it comes to compounding.
I think that what is going to confuse a lot of people right here is because Vinegar Syndrome has been pretty big on their price, on their order stacking.
Mm-hmm.
But my personal thought is that this isn't going to be compounding discounts that are rolling over. It's going to be compounding discounts on a day-to-day basis. So remember when we had, like, in January, we had those like 10 for 10, and you could buy like certain ones, and then the next day you could buy other titles for $10. I think what we're going to get here is you can buy, we're going to have like a kind of a chart, an amount, like, and that'll go for that day, and it'll be a similar one, and it'll just reset on a daily basis. I can't see, like, if it is, then one, that's fantastic. I don't see it happening.
Mm.
I don't see them compounding like on a daily basis. Over the week would be the I think ideally that's what everybody would want.
Right.
But as a company, may not work out best for them. And the thing is, you
Yeah.
gotta hope too that it's going to be titles that you want, because here's the thing: if you pick out a couple titles, and we go through the next 6 days, and the titles get increasingly disinteresting, you're still buying those other titles.
Yeah. And then they say discounted selection, but what if, for example, let's I don't know, let's pick out something at random. I don't know. Let's say Tix. They've got the Tix thing. I don't remember how much Tix was, but I think it was like $35 or something. Let's say they knock off $5. Then then you can compound discount if you bought something else that day. Um, is that enough of a sale? I mean, is that enough of a sale to get like $7 off a movie or something like that? I mean, if it's not already at sale price. So this could be a real whimper of an event if there's no real discount, for the consumer. I think it's going to be something people are going to be like, yeah, this is we're used to 10 for 10. If you're not going to give us that, we're not paying. We're not going to try and save $3 on something. What do you think?
It's gonna be. It's like it's the sale that is going to be like made, or like it's going to be made, or just or sunk on its first day. Like when we find out, it'll be made or sunk on its first day here. So when we know, and we know, one, if it's rolling over day by day, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that's the optimum. If it's on a daily basis, but the benchmarks on the daily basis is good enough that people still feel that they're getting a great deal, then there's then like, that's fantastic. If it's on a daily basis and the benchmarks don't feel like it's enough to feel special, and people are going to want to buy that stuff,
Yeah.
then yeah, it's gonna be different.
It's going to be very different, and then I don't know that it's not necessarily going to move subscriptions for the second half of the year. I'm going to be honest. I'm very happy I did not subscribe this year. I did not like this first half of the year. I thought it was really rough. So I don't know I'm certainly not going to subscribe. But I don't know how many people are going to be, moved to pick up the second half of the year. I mean, in a way, we are getting that big 10 movie box set, which, was a thing for a while. And it was supposed to get that halfway. We didn't get that halfway. So we're getting this during Black Friday. Supposedly, hopefully they have to do that. And that could be an amazing box set, or it could be a box set full of usual garbage that they know they couldn't sell sepaidly.
Yeah, it's
Which, let's be cynical, but that's exactly kind of what they do.
That's the thing. Like, I'm not quite sure, and I'm gonna pause for a minute because I think we got a troll. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna like, whatever, man. So basically, somebody asked if you knew anything about movies and physical media.
I'm watching that Oxdub. I know Oxdub. I think he's just messing around. Oxdub's on my channel all the time. So I think he's being a goof.
Okay, yeah, I was saying, like, that seems, unless it's not the real Ox, then it seems different.
Unless it's not the real Oxdub, or he forgot forgot who I am. But I think Oxdub's just being goofy. Oh, it's a weird thing to do, Oxdub, because then people think you're being a jerk. But that's on you, man.
You know. Okay. I was like, what? You got me, man.
Yeah, I had a feeling. I was like, Oxdub, what?
Okay, so first day we got the regular stuff, right? We got 4 regular Vinegar Syndrome titles, 1 VSA, 17 partner label releases. That's a lot. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that there's partner label releases. I get conflicted in that when I became a subscriber, you remember when I was a subscriber, right? And you know what a nervous wreck I was during that time period.
Yeah.
So I felt like I'd be, okay, my Vinegar Syndrome package is coming. I can't wait. And then I'd like, damn it, these partner label titles are better than what I'm getting in the mail. And I just spent all my money on the subscription, so I can't buy these partner label titles. So when it came down to that time, we had this conversation. And you went on for the next half of the year. And I'm like, I don't think I'm going to do it. I don't think it's going to be worth it. And we had a conversation about it. You're like, I think I'm going to do it. But at the end, you didn't either. And wish you did. Are you a subscriber now?
No. And I'm glad I didn't. Like I was saying, I think this year's been crap. So I did not. And I going forward, I don't think I will. But if it's like something that's selling out that I want, I don't mind paying full price. At the end of the day, as a subscriber, all you're saving is $8. That's the truth, guys. This is what you don't know. What is our discount for partner titles? $8. So if you really freaking want something, just pay it. Just buy it. You know what I mean? Just, if it's selling out, just grab it. You don't have to.
And there's sales.
You don't have to wait.
These
or sales. Yeah. Yeah.
When do you think that 10 movie set is coming out?
Well, they said they were going to do the halfway drop, but they didn't do that. So it should be Black Friday. It should be. But I mean, if they don't drop it this year, I don't know what the hell they're going to do, because it's the 10-year anniversary, so they have to.
I would say, like, my thoughts on it is, I don't think they'll do it for Black Friday. I think they'll do it the month before. So I think that'll be, because that way they can do it for September, do like the 10 disc set, and then they can go in with the rig. I'm guessing Black Friday is pretty much marked off. Do you know what titles they got for Black Friday? And if they
but they've switched over.
That's going to be more expensive. Like a lot more expensive.
Yeah, but they switch over a lot. Like there's times when people say, oh yeah, this month they were supposed to release this, and this, but we got this, and this instead. So I wouldn't stay necessarily stuck to that schedule. I think it's a Black Friday title. If I had to put money on it, I would say it's absolutely a Black Friday title. And it's going to be expensive, maybe $200, but they better be worth it. Whatever's in that box set. But it better not be the Cardona collection mashed together, because
God,
it would not be good. It would not be good.
Like I know there's people that like that, but that dude needed an editor. Like badly needed an editor, and I don't know what was wrong with his childhood, but why did he hate animals so much? What the hell? I'm sorry, man. I can't get behind Reno
Yeah.
Cardone Jr. So we're getting discounted Blu-rays with slipcovers, or in other words, limited editions. So they'll put some limited editions on sale on the first day. And here's the key thing about this: it's going to be switching up every day. And there were titles on the first day of the 10 for 10 sale that right now, not going to lie, I'm kicking myself for not picking up because I waited. That's okay. No, there's better titles come the next day. I get to the next day. I'm like, okay, I want to get something today, but I'm going to wait for the next day because there's going to be more stuff coming. And eventually you get to that last day and you're like, can we rewind a bit? Yeah, there's a few that I really wanted that I missed out on because of that. Because I'm like, oh no, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for the next day. So we got that second day, box sets and hard cases. So you're going to get a lot of stuff here that I think is going to be interesting to people, and you're going to get stuff that's going to sell. So your favorite stuff like Homegrown Horrors, I expect these to be discounted heavily. If anybody wants to buy Six String Samurai that hasn't picked it up, this is probably going to be the time because if I'm correct, and you can correct me if I'm right, it hasn't been a big seller, right?
No, it's that's the one. I remember it was like $10. They had that in the 10 for 10. I'm like, Jesus, no one's buying this. Yep. I was very shocked by that. But yeah, it's not a big seller. Nope.
Yeah, if it didn't sell at 10 for 10, like, what do you do?
And look, we just had a big sale. We just had some of these movies for $22, $20. So if they don't come with those prices, then people aren't gonna like. No, we just spent a whole bunch of money. If you're not gonna give us the exact same kind of pricing, why would we pay more a month or two later? Like that makes no sense.
Yeah,
so it has to be sale price.
I hope so, man. I really do.
Yeah.
Are you picking up the Iban Press Zombie set?
Hell yes! I'm so excited for that. When they said they were doing the Iban team ups, I'm like, oh my god, I missed out on getting that one. They did a Beyond comic, so I hope they bring those back, and I'm glad they did. I don't know how much that shit's gonna be, but I'm willing to bet it'll be cheaper than if Severin sold it. So I'm getting it.
It's there's never been an announcement release that's been more Aaron than it's a Lucio Fulci comic book, oversized limited edition set. Like that's everything, Master Chaos. Amazing. That's everything I like put together all in one. We don't know the price yet. I'm hoping the price is going to be good. I'm worried about the amount. Vinegar Syndrome Press Publishing, they've had very low amounts of books for what they've done. So I've seen stuff sell out in an hour for some of their books. So I will say right now it's July 1st that it's going to happen. So if you want it, be on the site.
Yeah, it's the first thing you got to grab for sure.
Yeah, like it's going to be like go in, grab it, buy it. If you're going to come back and buy something else, do that after. Now, when you're going in there, you're buying one, you're buying me one. That's what you have to do, right? Okay, on the third day of Christmas, we get the standard edition Blu-rays. I think this is going to be like, this is a lull day. We need these.
Yeah.
Everything can be like giant bells and whistles. Fourth day, we got more limited edition stuff coming out. Fifth day is interesting. This is where it gets really interesting again. So fifth day is bundle products. So the Vinegar Syndrome did bundles in the past, but they were kind of different. And I'm sure you remember this. They did like exploitation bundles and like sexploitation and horror bundles, or like different packages, different types of bundles that they did. But I'm wondering if that's not going to be that, and they're just going to be like kind of bundling like some 4Ks together, like you mentioned. You would like to have seen Severin do, bundling some Blu-ray type stuff together, and hopefully, because here's the thing, that those bundles aren't going to include some of the titles in those previous 3 or 4 days.
Right. I don't think this is going to sell well at all. I mean, a bundle sounds good for new movies, but if you bundle old crap like, "Oh, I don't have those two movies, but I have that one, so I'm not going to buy a bundle to, get that movie twice," or, "Oh, I have 3 of those movies, but I only want this one. Why would I buy a bundle?" So I honestly can't see this selling very well,
I mean, like
if
for
it's
people that
old
are just
shit.
coming in, like that's the thing. For people that are just coming into Vinegar Syndrome, I can see
Sure.
this going really well. Or say you're a new 4K person. You've gotten no 4Ks. You've got none of the Vinegar
Mhm.
Syndrome 4Ks or any of that type of stuff. Yeah, yeah. So if you put in like an MGM 4K bundle, it's got Death Wish, Amityville, like whatever there. Uh, I can see that going over pretty well. And some people get like kind of upset with some of the newer stuff that they're doing. I'll be the first to admit when they announced Showgirls was their big one. I
Hmm.
I, I 100% I was wrong. I said, well, I guess that'll do okay, but it won't do super well. It did amazing. I was 100% wrong. Yeah, I'll totally own that. But that's the thing right now, and we're starting to see a shift in Vinegar Syndrome. We'll get to it a little bit as we go farther down, and a change in the way that they're doing things. There's an evolution coming to Vinegar Syndrome. And I think if it does okay, it's an evolution that we're going to see go with other companies too,
Okay.
because of just of the way things are going and the way physical media is going at this specific time.
Hmm.
So we get more limited editions on the 6th day, and the 7th day is 4K UHD releases. So standard and limited editions. So you get yourself your Miami connections if you don't have it, stuff like that. If you haven't picked up uh, their any of the VSUs that are any of them, like aside from which ones are still in print aside from, is it just Six String Samurai?
Well, Six String, Cloak and Dagger, Sidekicks, those are still available. But I think of like the first generation, yeah, just Six String.
Cloak and Dagger should be sold out. Like that was I love Cloak and Dagger. I'm a big
It's
fan.
great. Yeah, it's awesome.
That's but here, let's hit on the actual super big thing is what they're doing. Beginning in July of this year, all hardcore and some softcore titles will no longer be available for purchase at
Hmm.
VenegarSyndrome.com. We'll be launching a special website on August the 1st that will specialize in all things sexploitation. Separating these films will not only be able to streamline the checkout process on the Vinegar Syndrome website, but we will be more than doubling the number of films released on our home video, including adding more diverse film selections into the mix. He also mentioned that you will be able to cross-site purchase, so you can do order stacking, which is good because some people were concerned. Okay, what about shipping? If I got to buy my adult titles here and my regular titles over there, is that going to double the shipping? No, you can actually kind of cross purchase, which is excellent. He also mentioned this, and I think this is interesting, is that hardcore and some softcore titles were released with the Vinegar Syndrome branding, inclusive of all older Peakorama titles, standalone releases, and some drive-in collection films, will be phased out. For example, once a sex film with the Vinegar Syndrome catalog number sells out, the Vinegar Syndrome edition will be able to print. Select
Mm.
DVD-only releases will be repressed as Blu-rays on the new site. And I'm going to guess not under the Vinegar Syndrome name, but under some new logo or whatever they're going to call this new site. Due to this, all VS branded sex titles will be heavily discounted once the new website is live. And I do expect this to be massively heavily discounted. I have a
Mm.
feeling this is going to be a major, major discount. So you pervs out there likes all this, like all this stuff, like me, fantastic. In addition to increasing our hardcore and sexcore output, several other labels, and do you have an idea on this one here, will be joining the new website, including one of the most prominent and historic American sexploitation hardcore film producers whose vast catalog will be put into release. Any guesses?
Yeah, I'm not a big adult movie collector. I'm a fan, but I don't necessarily like have titles on my shelf. But I think this is a good thing because if they can bring in new partners and different titles, because I'm not a the '70s that just do nothing for me when it comes to the sex films. But When they say prominent historic American sexploitation and hardcore film producers, I'm thinking Wicked Pictures. I'm thinking Vivid. I mean, there's great movies that came out of that, those companies with like incredible ladies that I would, I would be interested in owning. Edward Penis Hands comes to mind as a perfect kind of,
Oh, I remember reading
Vinegar
that.
Syndrome thing. Like I mean, anything with Jenna Fine, I'm a big fan. Rebecca Wilde, like there's so many great actresses in the 80s and 90s that,
Madison. Remember Madison?
yeah, a huge fan. Yeah, amazing. I'd be way more interested in those kind of films. So if them for some reason having to break apart from Vinegar Syndrome to do their own thing allows us to have more uh, newer porn movies, 80s, 90s, then absolutely that sounds way more intriguing than just the 70s stuff, which does nothing for me.
Well, I like the whole genre of of that, but I like the '70s stuff too because I like the storylines, man. Uh,
So I don't care about stories.
but the thing is, like, for me, this is what needs to be done because when you're putting out movies like Sidekicks and Roadhouse and some of them were actiony titles and stuff, that is going to be a bit more like, for lack of a better word, family friendly, or or
Mhm.
get more of a mainstream audience. You want to cater towards getting a larger, more mainstream audience. And this is the thing that and I've talked about it in in wrestling videos. I talked about it in comic book videos. Um, it's they don't court. It's not they don't have to court people like me and you. We're we collect this stuff. This is what we do.
Mhm.
But we're not enough. It's you want to if you want to do the weird movies that we want, then you got to have the money and the budget behind it. And in order to do that, you've got to court a more casual, like larger fan base. So you want to get your
Mhm.
sidekicks in there. You want to get your I don't know your Chuck Norris like style films or your I don't know maybe if there's a market Chili O'Mary. I guess there is a market. Um, stuff in there too, to get more people in there. And like the stuff that probably you're not so excited about, some of the MGM stuff that's been, that was put out previously by Shout or Scream. But it's gonna get a bigger base. There's gonna be more people that are buying that stuff. But those titles are going to enable them to do the weird stuff that we do like, or the different stuff. You think, oh, I want more slasher films. Me too, but there's only so many before you get into stuff where you're like, is this good though? you know,
Yeah.
because Evil Laugh, Evil Laugh is a perfect example. Like, is Evil Laugh a slasher? Yes, it's a slasher film. It was 80s or 90s. I can't remember which now. But was it a good movie? It's
Nope.
okay. It's okay. And like I think I'm
Oh.
being generous. I think
Yes.
I'm being generous because it's and a little bit of problematic stuff with the director. But all that aside, the movie's still not a good movie.
Yeah.
Um, because when it was Vinegar Syndrome, and the
Mhm.
Severin snaps, right? You got a couple companies doing that, but now plus you had the casual, you had the people like the Paramounts and all them. Sony's doing a lot of stuff, doing a lot of the more blockbustery stuff, but now everybody is hitting up on the boutique label world. Paramount as Paramount Presents. Sony takes back some of their titles from Twilight Time back in the day so they can put them up themselves.
Mhm.
You've got Arrow. Arrow's was a UK distributor that came over to the United States. Criterion was a North American distributor that came over to the UK. So the pool of movies, and I know there's a lot of movies out there, and like a lot of films that I like or that you may like, but they're all putting they're dipping into that same pool, and it gets shallow.
Yeah. And what I don't like is when different companies release the same movie in different ways. Like, oh, well, there's a different slipcover over in this company, and they've got another different special feature. No, 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 no. Everybody get together and decide what they have. Please don't release the same movies. You're just killing yourselves. I mean, Severin themselves, they're I guess they're in partnership. I don't know with 88 Films, but 88 Films is putting out. or just did put out Burial Ground 4K, and Severin says, "Oh, wait, we've got a 4K. Wait for hours. Wait for hours." And it's like, guys, what's happening here? Either release at the same time or not. But 4K is region free, so if somebody wants it, they're gonna grab it whenever the one that's the most readily available at the moment that they want it.
Yeah.
So that's what I don't want them to do that. I don't want them to cannibalize the product because there's way more movies out there. Stop doing that.
I'm not sure
Frustrating.
if there is like a 88 films like kind of partnership. If anything, from some of the like the back in the day, I remember there's more of a
Mm,
an antagonist. Or it seemed that way between 88
mm-hmm.
films and Seven. They did not seem to be friends. So if they've changed that, that's great. Um,
Oh,
but I don't know. I don't even know like with the Vinegar Syndrome and Severin thing, where this is all going around at the same point. Um, there's only so many months in a year, I guess, to do these sales. And like Severin already backed off like from doing a midway sale. Like when I started at the beginning of like last month doing the getting amped up for the Vinegar Syndrome sale. I did it in conjunction. I did Severin stuff too. I was doing Severin titles, and I kept waiting. So okay, tomorrow I'm going to hear from Severin, right? I'm going to hear we're going to get an announcement, and I'm like, I better stop talking about Severin films because I'm not seeing this sale, and I don't want to lead people down the wrong direction. Um, and then all of a sudden, bam, out of nowhere, we got this.
yeah. I mean, look, it's a perfect storm of things that I think it could lead to the implosion of the market. Prices going up, sales not feeling like sales, shipping being affected to the point where you have to wait a month before your stuff even begins to start shipping. All that stuff is like, honestly, I'm gonna be very upset if people start getting their um, whatever this is, mid subscriber week Vinegar Syndrome stuff. If they start getting this stuff before I have my halfway to Black Friday order, that's not cool. You're supposed to ship the older orders first. So I hope that doesn't happen. But it's just one of those things where it's like, people are going to start falling out of love with these companies. And it's almost like, I don't want to say the companies, obviously they care, but they care more about money. That customer service is great for Vinegar Syndrome, so I won't knock that. But I mean, it's at something's got to give at some point. You're gonna be like, you know what, this is I can't order from them anymore. It's easier to just go through Diabolic or whatever, and then that money gets cut down for these companies because Diabolic's got to make money, and Diabolic didn't pay full price. So I don't know. It's I hope it doesn't happen anytime soon, but the fact
Now,
that so much junk is being put out and people spend money on it and be like, why did I buy this junk? You're just gonna burn people out so hard. There's gonna come a time when there's gonna be a sale and no one buys anything.
do you think that Vinegar Syndrome is getting to the point where like all of the good the goodwill is eventually is got to dry up? Like we've seen this like this, and that's not saying this is not a knock on Vinegar Syndrome, but we've seen this like this is not our first rodeo. We've seen
Mm-hmm.
Anchor Bay, Blue Underground, Scream Factory. Every one of these companies have been the belle of the ball at a different
Right.
time, and they run through their period where everybody loves them, and they get to a level of popularity where it just isn't sustainable. And then
Mm-hmm.
then they make a decision, and people are like, I'm not sure about that decision, and it kind of steamrolls into like, and you start to see the cracks.
Yeah.
Not that with Scream Factory, so especially when they started putting so many titles, and I was like, oh, these are we're only supposed to put out 80s films. Then you got like 90s films, and then they're doing like now. Hopefully, they're going to go into 2000s because they're running out of 80s and 90s films to do. And also, we got a couple breaks from partner labels, some big ones. We had Fun City Editions, which for me was the premium partner label,
Mm.
move away from OCN, the company that distributes for Vinegar Syndrome. And then TerraVision, which was started by it was by Brian, one of the
Brad.
guys from the company, right? And
Yeah.
that's moved off into its own thing. So they're moving away from Vinegar Syndrome. Now we've got an Umbrella come in as a partner label to kind of take over for like to kind
Mm-hmm.
of put a bit of luster there. And if you've been collecting from Umbrella for a while, I did, I reviewed from Umbrella for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of the titles that they're announcing now are stuff that, with a new slipcover, but I got it. So it's nothing that I got to grab. I still would love to be able to grab the Fun City Edition stuff, but they've gone to MVD, and I'm not quite sure how accessible MVD is when it comes to like when I'm getting stuff shipped to Canada. Like Vinegar Syndrome had a Canadian distribution site. It was simple. So, and you would think that at the level that Vinegar Syndrome are at, that Fun City Editions and TerraVision and some of the others, because they're not the only two companies that have moved away from Vinegar Syndrome's partner labels. Like,
Right.
what's the reasoning behind that? And
Well, I have some inside knowledge. I won't name names, but I know one of the people behind one of the companies, and the reason, and again, I allegedly that they left, that TerraVision and Fun City left, is because their cut of the profits wasn't good enough, basically, from their deal with OCN, and they just weren't making as much as they thought they should, and they're limited as to what they can release. It's not like, oh, if they have a movie for each month, they can release a movie each month. Like, no, your schedule, for example, let's say Cult of Cinema Films is putting out, hey, welcome to OCN, Aaron. You can release a movie January, March, June, and September, and that's it. And so that limits you in terms of how much money you can make, because you can only put out one title. So those companies left because they didn't like those practices, from what I've been told.
So they're Atariing it. They're doing the Atari thing, because this for those.
Yeah.
I'm old, guys. Like I had an Atari. Atari had a system back in the day where you were only allowed to like put out like so many Atari cartridges a year in different games. So what companies would do was they would like make sub labels and different labels, and like ended up backward engineering so they could put out more Atari ones, because they couldn't sustain their company with what Atari said they could put out. So they're Atari. That's actually good. That's not good, but it's like knowledge I didn't have. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
But because it was something I was literally, and I don't think I was the only person. I think Fun City Edition shocked a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, Breathless is our last title. And you're seeing, and I do recommend for a big fan of Fun City Editions. They're gone to MVD Entertainment. They have amazing stuff. I recommend that if you can, whether it's MVD Entertainment or Amazon, follow them. Like every Fun City Editions title that I got, I'm not sure about it. Like, were you collecting them too? What was usually like a really good title, something I'd be like, okay, man, I'm not quite sure about this one. Then I'd get, and I'd be like, damn, this is good.
This is really good. They had good movies, which was what made them a good label. You usually would at least walk away pretty impressed with the movie, and that doesn't really happen sometimes with some of these partner labels. But they were solid. They were absolutely solid.
And for you, like the better like TV movie box sets.
I actually I didn't get that box set, but yeah, I was like, nah, I'm kind of done. I looked into it and like, it doesn't seem like it's for me. So, but I'll take your word for it. If it was good, I'm good.
And I'm a fan of the other one, but I'll be honest and say it was definitely better. But yeah, like stuff they put out like Smile, which unfortunately I still don't have. I missed out on slipcover for that one, but a film that I like. But it was like I start counting, that made me fall in love with that company. And what they were doing. But with all of this, with everything that's coming out here, and we have like a Kino sale still coming up, we had a Criterion sale coming up. Is there anything here that can swerve you away from Criterion or Kino?
Well, like I said, I have a massive Vinegar Syndrome collection. I have everything I want, and unless there's something new that is selling out, they're like, oh man, like it's usually going to be a partner title, if anything, because they sell out pretty fast. If there's a partner title that I really, really want and it's selling out, slipcover wise, then I'll grab it. But in terms of the, compounding sale thing, I can't imagine there's going to be anything of interest for me.
Do you have a
Only because I've got everything I want.
Do you have a favorite partner label that's still with the company that you kind of look towards?
Oh, Deaf Crocodile absolutely is my favorite. Love them. Pretty much anything they put out, I've grabbed. Um, yeah, Deaf Crocodile and Agfa. I'm still a big Agfa guy, even though some of their stuff has gotten a little rough. But I still love their style. So those are the two that are my favorites.
I love that they put out the 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 Doris Wishman sets, and I
Mm-hmm.
love that they did the magnetic and
Yeah.
took the Cardona set Thunder because I'm like, you know how much I hate that set. So I'm glad that somebody, a director that I respect, actually got that done for them
That's
because I
amazing. Yeah.
respect Doris Wishman, and you were lucky enough to get to work with her,
Mm-hmm.
which still blows my mind, by the way. And you said you worked with David Bradley
Doug
recently.
Bradley. Yeah.
Doug
Yeah. I just finished my seventh movie, and it's called The Exorcist. It's sort of a takeoff The Exorcist. We shot in a mausoleum, and Doug Bradley is our Father Merrin. He's our he's our Max von Sydow, and he was amazing. We're in editing right now, and it will be out September or early October. And I got word, it hasn't been 100% confirmed, but I think this one will get a physical release in November. So that'll be nice. I'm excited about that.
I'm going to say right now, it's probably going to be better than that Exorcist movie that's coming out.
After Halloween ends, probably, yeah.
Just putting that out there, man. I was lucky enough to meet before we went to our first convention. It was like, and it was a horror convention. It was a horror comic convention in Montreal.
Okay.
So Doug Bradley was going to be there. Sid Haig was going to be there. Tom Savini were going to be there. Like three of the big ones for me. And I was told, I was on like a Facebook site. No, Doug Bradley is a germaphobe. Don't shake his hand. He's really, really strict. He'll push you along pretty fast. So by the time I got to the convention, I was like, I want to meet Pinhead. And so we're down, right? And this before the lines are coming up. So we're getting there early. So I'm down right at the end part. There's nobody there, so I can just walk right up. And my better half's like, go up and this Pinhead, you love Hellraiser. Go speak to him. I'm like, I've heard things. I'm not sure. I'm kind of nervous. So I start to walk up, and I get up there, and I jokingly say, well, hey, how do you feel about like not being in the really bad? It's a joke. He said, well, what do you think? I said, well, I think you made the right decision. So he's there, shakes my hand. We talk for a nice while. The entire next 2 days of that convention, every time I pass by there, he says hi and knows me by name, which I think was amazing. What an amazing! And this was the first horror person I met at any of these conventions. He's the 1st one I went up to, and it set the bar super high. So I can just imagine like being able to work with him, and like because he was such a sweet guy, and he had such like a nice kind of dry sense of humor.
Yeah.
That I truly appreciate. I would love to see him again.
Yeah, he's great. He's great, and he's 70 years old, but he was up 16 hours doing his own stunts. He never complained. I was incredibly impressed. Because you never know. You never know if they're gonna be divas or difficult or just like I'm not doing that. He never. He was collaborative. He always had the movie's best interests in mind, and he never made it an awful experience like I've heard some other celebrities have in the past. But this was great. I'm honored to have him in the movie, and I can't wait for you guys to watch it. I think it's going to be a very interesting film. I think you guys will really enjoy it.
Without naming anybody or putting you on the spot, have you ever worked with somebody where you're like, maybe we shouldn't have met? or have you been lucky when it
Oh
comes
yeah.
to
No, luckily I've only had good actors, but I've had a couple crew people that have made sets toxic, just like not fun to be around, and that sucks. That happens, but when you're dealing with so many people, you're eventually gonna run into not nice people.
So you got this one coming out. You've done the movie for Full Moon as well.
Um, the Full Moon movie, unfortunately, I've got some bad news. Leech Woman has been delayed. I've been it's basically Charles Band has gone on radio silence. They're shooting something else right now here in LA. Actually, today was their day one. Some haunted house movie, and Leech Woman is, I don't know, on vacation for now. I have no idea when that's going to happen or if it will happen, but I'll let people know if it does come to pass.
Well,
Unfortunately.
hopefully it will. I've heard Charles Band can be as a character. To be honest,
Yeah.
like it's a bit of a character when it comes to some of that stuff. But I know that's something that you wanted to do was work with like kind of do Full Moon,
Yeah.
like because we remember the Full Moon of its heyday and the Empire Pictures of its heyday when we were growing up and it was like Puppet Master 3 and
Mm-hmm.
titles like Trancers, stuff like that, and the first subspecies and those other subspecies that don't exist. But the
Hey,
first
2 and
subspecies
3
that
are good. 2 and 3 are good. I watched part 5. Actually, I got to go to the premiere, and it's okay. It's a little slow. It looked huge compared to the stuff they're making nowadays. Massive, massive movie, but it's a little slow. It's a little slow, unfortunately.
I mean, see, I'm okay with the other one, but when I saw subspecies first, now I come from like a different line with this here because I'm a huge soap opera fan, an
Mm-hmm.
unabashed soap opera fan. So I didn't see subspecies because it was a full moon movie. No, see, I used to watch General Hospital when I was a kid. It was like the soap opera for guys. It's the action soap opera, right? And the star of subspecies, like the one who plays the brother,
Mm-hmm.
um, so he played a character called Decker who had just left like the Serious General Hospital, and
Mm.
Anders Ho was like their bad guy, and he wasn't just their bad guy for then. He was like their bad guy on and off till 2018, like massively, like long since coming back. Like that was a lot of paychecks for Anders Ho.
Wow.
But yeah, so I went in like saying, okay, these are different soap operas. I know these characters here, but Ang Scrims shows up at the beginning of it. I love the first one. I get to see to the second one. I'm super excited to watch the second one. I want to see what happens with the brother. Spoiler alert for a very old movie. 10 seconds in, what happens? They fucking stake him. They kill the
Yeah.
brother. He's gone, and then they do what I consider to be the unforgivable mummy.
Oh yeah.
What in the blue hell were they thinking with the character of Mummy? Like Radu was this like super creepy guy. I mean, like he's got this Nosferatu type look to him. Anders Hove has like so much presence, like so much
Mm.
presence. And they're like, no, no. When we do part two, we're gonna take all that away from Anders Hove and have him like kind of be subservient to his mummy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a mummy, because get it. So yeah. So by the time they do part three and they're like going in with like machine guns, I'm like,
Uh-huh.
sure, why not? We'll go with that. Actually enjoyed Vampire Journals, which was kind of a spin-off movie. A bit
Oh, see, I
more to
did
it.
not like that one.
Did not like it was more serious. It was like it was a bit emo, but when I saw
Mm-hmm.
Vampire Journals, dude, I was a bit more emo.
Gotcha. Well, then you'll probably like Subspecies 5 because it reminded me of Vampire Journals. It had that pace. It was very languorous, very much a gothic, kind of gothic hangout movie is kind of what I would describe it. Um, I mean, it's a beautiful looking movie, but I just felt that there was no real story, unfortunately for me.
To get the original director back, I'm actually excited about that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
kind of a cool thing.
And they're potentially planning a part 6. So
I hope to see
we'll
it. I
see.
hope to see your thing come back on track, because you
Me too.
deserve it. You've been working hard with the stuff you do, and you put out some really good stuff. Is
Thanks,
there
man. I
anything, by the
try.
way, that you think people should be checking out? Like, if you were look at your filmography, like obviously you're going everything, but like
Right.
things that stand out, right?
Well, right now, let's check Tubi real quick. But right now, I know my most recent movie, Headless Horseman, is on there, and you can watch that for free on Tubi. And oh, actually, then my film, The Haunting of Whaley House, is also on Tubi. Oh, actually, my other movie, Blood Brothers, is also on Tubi. So I've got 3 films on Tubi that I wrote and directed: Headless Horseman, Haunting of Whaley House, and Blood Brothers. Those are available on Tubi for your viewing pleasure.
So there you can watch
Um,
actually do a
yeah,
master cast like film festival.
yeah, there you go.
Tubi is my favorite streaming service. I'm not going to lie. I never thought it was going
It's
to be,
awesome.
but it really is.
So good.
Maddie said he's been watching the Puppet Master films. He's at Axis of Evil and he's skipping the crossovers. What do you mean, like?
Well, there aren't technically any crossovers of Puppet Master because Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys is sort of a Elseworlds, story. It doesn't really factor into the main storyline.
And you got to watch like Doctor Death, like because one, it's okay. It's like it's definitely kind of
Mm-hmm.
more budgeted with the stuff they're doing it now. He's got a certain way that he's working with it. But if you're a wrestling fan, the bunny and the butcher, I'm not
Yeah.
joking, from AEW show up in the movie, and it's so random. Like this guy dies, and like his daughter, I guess her granddaughter shows up, and I'm watching this. I'm like, is that the bunny? Is that the bunny out there that I'm watching right now? I was super stoked because we watch AEW in this house. So,
Well,
um,
she's a big Puppet Master fan, and so that's how she got in there.
who is she?
They invited her, and she's like, "Oh my god, I'll do it." So yeah, that's how she ended up in there.
Which is incredible. I'm like, I'm all for that. Put all of them in. Put Julia Hart in there. I want do all the AEW girls, or the one that I want to see come in because this is my wrestling crush, uh,
Hmm.
AJ Lee from who's retired now actually from wrestling. Her husband would beat me up though. He's like CM Punk. Actually, I saw his MMA stuff, so maybe he would. But no, I'm a huge Punk fan, guys. It's a joke. It's called a cinema. It literally comes from Punk's like theme song. When I was trying to think up my name for my channel, um,
Hmm.
I was listening to music because I'm always listening to music before I do videos when I'm editing and stuff like that. I'm writing up stuff. I was listening to I had like a track list on, and Call to Personality came on because I'm a
Mm.
massive Punk fan, and I had that like 3 times in my playlist. And I'm like, "Ooh, Call to Cinema." Then I did a quick search to see if there was anything there. There wasn't. I'm like, nobody's used this. I'm definitely using this. And that's so CM Punk is, and luckily I haven't been as polarizing. I don't think. Maybe after today, who knows? But I haven't been as polarizing as Punk has been this year.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with having different opinions, as long as you're honest, and I think people appreciate that, and I think look, that's all we can offer any kind of an audience that watches us is to give them an unfiltered opinion, but then we accept their opinions as much as we hope they accept ours. We're a community, but we can't all, especially with movies, we can't all like the same stuff, and that's fine. But I think you should be able to criticize, and you shouldn't be like, no, 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 it's fine, it's Vinegar Syndrome, I don't care if it takes 2 months, I'll get my movies eventually. Yeah, you could say that, but you shouldn't have to. You know what I mean? If you order something, you should be able to get it in a timely manner. You shouldn't have to wait a month for it to start shipping, and then it'll be 2 months before you see anything. That shouldn't have to happen. You know what I mean? We don't live in a third world country. It shouldn't be that hard. I can't imagine that they sold so many Emmanuel box sets, to be honest. I don't know. I watched a couple of them to decide whether I wanted to buy it or not. I'm like, yep, I'm good. I think that's
Which ones? Can
not
I
for
ask which
me.
one you watched? Do you know which
I,
ones you
I
watched?
watched I watched the first one, and I think Black Emmanuel in Bangkok or something like that. Um,
Did you
yeah,
watch
the
in
first
American?
one, and then that one.
You didn't watch
Did
in
I watch
American?
one? No, I didn't. But I heard that that one's pretty insane. So I'm like, nah, I don't need to watch any of that crazy shit.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to those movies that appeal to me. Yeah, there's nudity, but you know what? I don't really think she's that super hot. I know that's kind of like sacrilege. I think she's pretty, but I don't need to watch an entire box set of her boobs. One and done for me.
No, there's more. To be fair, there's more boobs than Lori Gempster in those. In
Oh,
those.
sure.
But
Yeah.
I know. I personally, I do want to get the set down the road. There are no like illusions of like not knowing what I got, what I'm going in, and what I'm getting. But for me, that's my jam. But that being said, at the end of the day, it's not a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are going to be like, no, that's not my thing. And we should
Hmm.
be able to criticize films. We should be able to criticize companies without feeling like it's sacrilege or you're I've said this time. I can't. I can't be. Do you hate Vinegar Syndrome now because you've made a criticism? No, I made a
Right.
criticism. It's okay to make
Yeah.
to criticize a company, and just to put your own like twist on. Like it's a business, and they have to do business wise what works best for them. Like I love Severin. I think Severin. I'll be honest with you. Like I think overall, like for releases that come out, here's a hot take. Severin is better than Vinegar Syndrome. I think that release wise, I like a lot of their stuff better. Kind of, it does lean toward it's a more of an eclectic mix, and you get more what I would consider some like Mike Lee films and stuff like that. Some, kind of No Way Home, kind of different titles. Some stuff that I think are important to have, and like we're getting directors that wouldn't get like a spotlight getting a
Right.
spotlight with amazing sets, and I don't think any other company does it or does it as well as they do. But that being said, they're their own worst enemies with
Hmm.
with the shipping, with the kind of half-hearted way that they
Pricing.
respond to some things, the way that they get a bit aggressive.
They're
When
thin-skinned. You can't be thin-skinned being in the business.
yeah,
Sorry.
it's true. You can't. I mean, like it's okay if somebody says something. Your company is not going to fall apart. Somebody doesn't like a release, or somebody says, "Where's my title?" It's
Hmm.
okay. Like they're spending a lot of money to buy your stuff. They're
Yeah.
supporting you. And yes, there was those years with the website thing. You get, you don't get upset. You lean into it. You have
Yeah.
fun with it. You make fun of it. You make it part of your identity, and you go with that. You don't like, well, we're not going to make slipcovers because you know everybody likes the Vinegar Syndrome slipcovers. We're not going to do that. We're different. Slipcovers aren't important. We're all about the movie. You can be all about the movie and still give good presentation for
Yeah.
for the box set. Obviously, it's you're not just all about the movie because there's a Joe Spinell plushie. That's not all about the movie.
Right.
What you know?
Exactly. I mean, they spend money on that, but not like I'm sure making slipcovers is way cheaper. It would probably make them more money.
Exactly, and like it did. Like look at what Vinegar Syndrome did. They started doing a couple things. Their first slipcover was The Undertaker. I remember getting it, and I'll be honest with you, it was too tight.
It wouldn't open. It still doesn't open.
It's
Yes.
super tight. It was like, and I was
Yep.
like, this is okay. Never would I have thought it was going to go in the direction that it went from its first slipcover, but it did. It got better. They did more slipcovers. It didn't have like an overboard thing like you had.
Yes. Oh my God.
And we started to get they started to get more impressive. We started to see things like Jack Frost with this. I would love to see more lenticulars and stuff like that because I grew
Hmm.
up in the era of like the '90s comics with chromium covers and the lenticular covers. Like I'm one of those kids that like you flash keys, it's shiny. I'm going to look at it. So give me the shiny. Aaron wants the shiny.
Yeah, of course. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I just gotta take this. I'll be 1 minute, 2 minutes. Okay.
Not a
Right back.
problem. See, guys, that's the thing. I'm all about The Shining. Well, let's see. Let's get some of your questions in here. Plushies and statues. That's all you care about. I mean, I like the plushies. I like the statues. I love to see them do stuff like that. I know Master Chaos picked up the one with the Bigfoot with the ripping. You know what I'm talking about.
I wanted the Christmas tree topper.
We want the Christmas tree topper. Here, I'm gonna do this. Like, forgot to do this here. Donate or super chat to this channel to get inner peace and good karma. There we go. Help Hind get a Jess Franco Christmas tree topper. She puts up with me. She puts up with my channel. It's not a bad. Help us help you to do a Christmas video this year with a Jess Franco Christmas tree topper. Matt says hi to you.
Hi.
She's eating some pizza over there. She's not eating pizza over there. She's, okay. But
It's 40 degrees and it's 10 p.m.
it is 40 degrees and it's 10 p.m. Disney's worst crimes they committed over 22 years ago: ending cigarettes at melody time and make mine music. I get that more than I get some of the other stuff that Disney's done when it comes to some of their editing.
I'm back.
Welcome back, man. We're talking about Christmas tree toppers and the love of Jess Franco.
Of course. Well, nothing says Christmas like Lena Romay's butthole.
Do you have a favorite Franco?
I really like his black and white stuff. The
Noirs?
the awful Dr. Orloff and the noir double feature was great. I love yeah, I kind of prefer his black and white stuff.
Times of Midnight with Orson Welles.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. It's probably his biggest credit. And I liked and Bloody Moon. Bloody Moon was good, but
that's ironic that you say that because Bloody Moon he hated making that movie. See, Franco hated slasher films, man, and he did that. Like, there's a sequence in Bloody Moon which is one of the most hilarious sequences I've ever seen in the film, and I think was done on purpose. Basically, it's the car ride scene. So for those that have not seen Bloody Moon, this girl gets into a car with this mysterious person. The person's got a mask. They drive somewhere. He ties her up. She's cool with that. She's cool with this masked dude. She's cool with them tying her up. It's not until just as she's getting murdered that she kind of figures it out. Like, there's this whole big sequence of red. It's literally, it couldn't be any bigger if there was somebody in the background with like red semaphore flags and a horn kind of warning her. But she's nope. I feel like that's his statement on the film. Like, you know how stupid these movies are. So this is my stupid, but I love Bloody Moon. I'm like you. I love Bloody Moon. My favorites are some of his 80s era stuff. This stuff that was done super low budget, but seems super personal. So House of Lost Women, Bahia Blanca. Definitely did lean more when it comes to like the sexuality aspect of it, but not to the point of certain films where you got like Franco's working with a zoom lens type of thing. You know what I mean? You've seen the ones, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, no, there were certain ones that I think were actually, were quality. Though that being said, they're not for everybody. They're for weirdos like me. I'm a weirdo, so there's that. If you got any questions there, we got one from there. I had it a second ago. What are the plans for the Vinegar Syndrome Severin sales video-wise? Am I doing anything special other than covering them? Every day for those Vinegar Syndrome, every day they announce something, Vinegar Syndrome, I will be doing them. If you're not a Patreon member the Live Movie Club / patreon.com/the Live Movie Club. Right now, Vinegar Syndrome is getting ready to do that big like switch over for their site in August. I am somebody that watches a lot of these like style films, and I do kind of I'm not I don't get like to like 10 Room Bazaar levels of critique. That guy, like honestly, a master doing that stuff. Nobody can do it.
Love it.
I
Yes.
think he's great. He's jumped into some chats, by the way, which has been amazing. Super cool guy.
Yeah.
And I worry that his channel could get lost or taken because of the new, like, the way YouTube is now, which would be a shame. Because he's a unique voice when it comes to YouTube. It's definitely a unique voice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll be doing a lot of stuff on Patreon for this stuff. Obviously, Han's gonna want to review some like the some of those films, right?
No,
Well, we're working on it. It's a work in progress.
no.
Now she won't. But we'll be doing like we got a lot of stuff on the Patreon right now. We're gonna have lots of stuff coming up. There's a lot of stuff coming for that. We may be having. You're welcome, by the way. I know you're doing your video on. Everybody's doing the video on Thursday. That's. But anytime you want to drop in or anything, just it's always an open invitation for you, man. You know that.
Thank you.
And like he had to reach out to me. I suck. I'm a horrible friend. I suck at reaching out to people. He knows this. This is I'll put myself on blast. So he said, hey, you want to do something? I'm like, yes, I really do. Why didn't I think of this? So today I set up like I was like up all night, and it was like 6:30 in the morning my time. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do a couple of editing things, and then we'll set it up. A few hours later, because I crashed, I send a message off. I hope he still wants to do it. So I'm rushing to get the message off and getting everything lined up. And so we get everything set up. And just as we do, everything like steamrolls. Like Severin comes out with all the features for the releases. And right after that, Severin starts announcing their sale policies and their bundles and the prices. So I can't imagine we could have chosen a better time to make this video.
Yeah, no, it was perfect. We basically covered everything. I can't imagine there's going to be any news. I mean, hopefully maybe there's some kind of surprise news as they drop, but it's the day after tomorrow. We're gonna be knee deep in it and not buying stuff because it's too expensive. But we're gonna at least commiserate together. Of course, there's gonna be those people who spend thousands of dollars, and that's great. But yeah, it's always fun just to do these lives and talk about this. And I've sort of been on a downward slope with YouTube in my mind. I'm sort of I got one foot out the door basically. It wasn't what I signed up for, and it's been hard to the whole monetizing thing.
It is. I mean,
I talk a certain way, and YouTube sometimes doesn't like that. And like, well, then whatever. Then I guess I just won't do it anymore. But I do love doing the sales, and I love doing the panel review shows. So I'll do those. But in terms of like reviews and putting out content for I mean, guys, YouTube does not pay you anything. Like we make maybe $1 a video. You know what I mean? It's like, so all that work for peanuts, it just does not make any sense, man.
Yeah, no, people don't realize this. When I say, and I try not to say it very often, but I do. I say, when you super chat or you super sticker, it helps out. And they're like, oh, haha, yeah. No, like I've had months where Google AdSense, they just, they demonetize so much stuff. There's nothing. Like if I did not have a Patreon, this would not be here right now. Because like we do a lot of live stuff. StreamYard is the thing. StreamYard's not free. Not for the level of stuff that we do. And that's the key part. So when you're doing this stuff, if you're not working with like a Patreon or buy me a cup of coffee or something like that, and the views aren't there to hit you to that, because you don't even unless you hit $100 mark, and it can take quite a few views to hit $100 mark with the way that the structuring is done. you can end up with months, and I've had a lot of these where there's nothing. And this right now, this is my, and this is a scary thing I'm about to say, Master Chaos. At this point in time, this is my profession. This is my job.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's hard, man.
that is utterly scary. It's super scary. But it's fun. I love it. I love like the back and forth. I love talking to people. I love, coming in here, having like guests on, like talking to you, doing stuff like that. But there's definitely a level of like, and if I find that if I mention it, I then I feel ultimately bad because I will notice that, I'll say, hey, oh, by the way, want a super chat, or I'll put like a banner down, and bam, like 10 people go.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, I guess, what how else do you do it? So I thought of an idea. So whenever I do asking for like donations or super chats or stuff like that, because I ain't too proud to bag. I know that song. I'll put on my luchador mask, and I'll become the lucha whore, and we'll work it like that. So I got a couple of those, and I actually almost brought down the luchador mask through that very thing today, actually. So lucha whore, you may see him in the future.
Aaron needs
Wow.
Sugar daddy, that's it. Only I'll have the, like I said, the reverse OnlyFans account, where I've got the OnlyFans account. I make people come in. I'll show this really sexy girl. I make people come in, lock their computers in. I say, I'm taking it off unless you start giving money. And they're
There you go. I mean, Michael Keane, I don't know if it was a joke or not, but on Twitter today, he did a poll. Should I just open an OnlyFans so I can circumvent, censorship from YouTube and Patreon? Because even Patreon will censor things. Like I was putting up reviews for adult titles on Patreon. They're like, "Oh, you got to take that down. That's not allowed." I'm like, "What the? What? Why not? It's supposed to be, it's a paid content. Blah blah blah. What's the difference?" And that's why I also closed my Patreon. I'm like, I don't have time to make extra videos if I'm not making any videos for YouTube. So I feel bad making people pay for it. So
yeah, like that's the thing. And once you put up a Patreon, guys, then no, the dragon fire is on your neck. You're like, okay, I want people coming in. They're paying for this. We want to make it worth it. Here's an honest truth here. I thought about it. Not for like the sexy reason, but I thought about doing an OnlyFans movie thing where I could actually kind of talk about, but I didn't know if there was an audience there for it. So
right.
For a change, maybe I'll follow Michael's lead instead of reverse. I don't know. I love Michael. He knows I mess with him. But God, I still love that video that he did on Berserker when he was trying to get the.
Oh yeah.
Brilliant stuff. But yeah, like because let us know, guys. Would you follow us over if we were doing something on a paid thing like an OnlyFans? Like I have friends that do OnlyFans, a different type of OnlyFans than I would do, obviously. But it's a way. And with the way that YouTube is going right now, if you're somebody that wants like to talk about certain things and more, you want your content to be more uncensored, and you want I consider myself fairly family friendly, like maybe not totally family friendly. Mr. Vincent was my nickname, and I didn't give it to myself. So obviously I like some weird shit, but if you want to see that type of content, let us know what it is that you want, because here's a guy that does some incredible stuff, and I've been like following you since early on in the beginning, and I've been lucky enough to be on your channel a few times. I was part of the full moon thingy, and then I moved, and then I couldn't be, and I felt so bad, and I was missing everything, and your like messages were coming out, and then I'm like I'm not a part of this group, and like that makes sense. like that makes sense because like it was rough. Like moving and changing and trying to figure it out. Because what time is it where you're at right now?
Right now it is 2:21 p.m.
And it's 10:30. So differences
Yeah,
there.
very very big difference. Yeah, I mean that definitely it shifts things. Yeah, I
And
mean for me, I mean honestly, it would be this way if it was the TV would be this way if it wasn't for commercials. You'd have the stars, hey, make sure you subscribe to this, and make sure you donate so you can watch the next episode of blah blah blah. It's the nature of the beast, and after a while, I mean, I know there's some content creators out there that just they're unmonetized. They've been at it for more than 10 years, and they've got less than 1,000 subscribers, and they're throwing out content once a week. That's amazing for them. It's a hobby, but because personally I monetize my creative efforts as a filmmaker, it just doesn't make sense for me to do this when it's not like an event, like a sale, or getting together with other YouTubers to review a movie. To me, that makes it fun, but it feels like shouting into the vacuum if you're just kind of making content with the hopes of making any kind of
I mean,
any
like,
kind of income. It's hard.
yeah, I understand. And for me right now, like I started out like this started out as like definitely a hobby, like almost a joke in the beginning. And this has been 11 years, man, that I've been doing this, which has been crazy.
Mhm.
And I almost gave up like so many times
I
as we
bet.
went through this. Somebody said nipple play while talking about movies. That I think Michael Keane does that. I think Keane does that. I think that's a Keane exclusive.
That's somebody else's gimmick.
Yeah, like I can't do a Keane exclusive. I do have. I got some great nipples, but we're, but but yeah, no,
I'm shaking my head.
yeah, she's shaking her head. Yes, so there we go. Uh, but but no, I mean like to do this just to go on a regular basis. What do you talk about? Like I'm in Morocco now. I can't go out and buy a movie like every week, even if I had the money to go and buy
Mhm.
it every week. Like when I did this before, I had my day job, and then I did this, and so any money that I got off of here back then, I was like, perfect. That's that's mad money. That's extra money. Now, this is it. I'm like, well, I guess electricity is a good thing to have. I guess the internet's keeping this internet's is a pretty special thing. So I get stuck with the
Yep.
point like, okay, I can get to the point now where people ask, so what are you buying for the sale? What are you buying? Well, it depends.
Yeah.
Um, it's you get to that spot where you're trying to you hope to get up to uh, get a little bit higher with this. And what I've done with my videos now is I've taken I've done like certain videos, and I'll do
Mhm.
like an audio version of them as well. And I'll put a video and an audio edition up at the same time. So because I have a lot of people that look at me and they say, "Man, you're a perfect person to listen to." So they'll like prefer to listen to my voice as opposed to like just like watching like a 2 hour long video. They'll like use it as a podcast.
Mhm.
Obviously, ASMR is what I should be doing, but that's
That
not
makes
my thing.
money.
Yeah, there you go. Well, whatever makes money, guys. If you see me on here like talking about movies and like with some bubble wrap, you know that I've gone in my next direction. But what
You'll
speaking
like this. Sorry, derail the conversation real quick, but this just kind of popped up on my feed. This is something I think you'll enjoy, Aaron. We have a new Superman. It's been officially confirmed.
for real?
Yep. David Corenswet is the new Man of
Yes.
Steel.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
So David Cornsweet is been in the talks of who people would really
The
want.
auditions, yeah, he's been auditioning
So
like for a week.
Nicholas Holt was in talks, but he was in talks with
Hmm.
and Lex as well. David Cornsweet is a guy that legitimately looks like a younger Henry Cavill. Like, look at
He
the
looks
guy.
exactly like him. Yeah, it's crazy.
And like that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to do like a younger one. And I did. I was working on. I'll ask you about this too. Like since we're here, Flash bombing, not doing well.
Mm.
And people are like, well, what does this mean for like DCU and all the time. Like DC hasn't started. Like the fact that James Gunn's saying something nice about the Flash is because that's his boss, but this is not under his regime. This was done before. But I have a theory on why a lot of these things aren't doing as well right now on Marvel and DC, not on just on DC, but on Marvel too. And
Okay.
let me tell me what you think. Is that
Okay.
when this all started, like Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, all this type of stuff, we had these like one-off stories, these kind of personal stories. They kind of rolled in, and eventually you got the Avengers, but one didn't depend upon on the other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they each told one story. If you went in and you watched Iron Man, you watched Incredible Hulk, you watched it. If you wanted to go and watch the Avengers, fantastic. You eventually got this like big overarching storyline that would come through, but it wouldn't like you wouldn't like have a story that was dependent upon like you had to watch this in order to watch this in order to see this.
Yeah.
When you add a multiverse to this, which is wonderful if you've got a comic book or you've got an ongoing TV series, but when you bring a multiverse into this, then you're putting in aspects of like you got to see this to understand this, and that's okay if you're me and you're a big comic book nerd or you like that type of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But a lot of people are coming in to watch this. They want to watch an action movie. They want to see. They just want to have a fun film. They want to watch a movie. They don't want to think that the next 5 or 10 years of their life is going to be like, oh, I better not miss this movie, or is this movie because if one doesn't make it, then
Mm-hmm.
because when you look at the DCEU, like whether you liked it or you hated it or whatnot, I thought it was okay. It wasn't like my Superman, but that's okay. I thought Henry Cavill was great. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he was the only good part in portions of that film, though. I thought Batman versus Superman was a choice. It was a choice. And I do like Affleck, too. Again, nothing wrong with the casting there.
Mm-hmm.
But we get to a point where what's the most popular DC? What's the most bankable? Aquaman. Freaking Aquaman is the one that makes the most money. You look back at
Well,
all
we'll
those.
see.
No, it did. Like out of all the DCEU movies that were done,
Well, the first one, yeah, but we'll see
Yeah,
how part
like-
2 does.
not good. I don't expect it to be good because who's going to go
No.
to it? It's a dead universe right now.
Yep.
And this is the way people are seeing it. It's like why go to see something that's done? It's not going to matter, right? It's like maybe he'll cross over, or maybe he'll be the Aquaman in the new one. Maybe like people said, is George Clooney going to be Batman? Once when the Flash came out, like spoiler alert, George Clooney comes up at the end, right? Sorry, but it's a throwaway gag. Like Ezra Miller's probably not going to be the Flash either. Oh no, please don't go, Ezra. I'm so sorry. But that's the thing. It's this closing off another universe. I don't expect them to like, okay, it's reset, so this is what's going to happen. No, they're going to do their own thing, and
Yeah.
good for them, I guess. But I think the multiverse on Marvel and DC side is a massive. It's iffy because we got it with Quantum Mania, and like people are like, yeah, and Kang. They brought him in. They said, and I like Ant-Man. That was kind of fun. But they're like, here's our big villain. He's our Thanos for the next thing. Oh, by the way, he will be defeated by giant ants. But don't worry, take him seriously.
Right.
I can't.
Yeah, I think here's the problem with all that. I think Endgame was the end for a lot of people. It was a perfect ending. Everybody came together. We fought the big bad. We lost Iron Man. We lost Captain America. We're done. The audience checked out. They're like, we gave you all the money. You win. Okay, we're done. Oh wait, what? There's more? Oh Lord. Wait, now we have to watch TV shows? Wait, now it's like homework. And to top it off, all those TV shows have been fairly bad. I mean, She-Hulk,
No.
I saw one episode. Oh,
I like
geez.
She-Hulk, but
Oh
I
my
like
God.
But my favorite TV show, hands down, and I don't think it's been beat so far, is WandaVision. WandaVision,
Yeah.
I thought was brilliant, and I don't think any show has gotten good. And She-Hulk, I enjoyed it, but I knew going in exactly what it was going to be. I did think the last episode was a bit of a mess. and especially the whole Scar thing.
Hmm.
Uh, Not the right way to introduce such a massively important character.
Yeah,
But I feel like things are just being thrown out there, and I have a feeling that they're trying to course correct as they go along. And there is
yeah.
like a bit of fatigue, like there is a bit of superhero fatigue, but that's at the end of
Oh
the day.
yeah.
It's watch them if you like them. Don't watch them if you don't like them. Don't be one of those guys with that has a dozen hashtags. Like, don't be that guy. Don't be that 20 hashtag guy. We know who you are. We've seen your hashtag once or twice. It's okay.
Yeah.
Gets a bit embarrassing after a while. It really does. It's
Watch
okay.
what you want to watch.
It's
and
okay.
let people watch what they want to watch.
Like that's it. Don't diss other people,
It's a free country.
for what they want to watch. Like I want to be able to go to a comment section just once, which it's never going to
Hmm.
happen. It's internet, and I'm going to be like, oh, here's a something about a new movie coming out. I guess this is going to be good.
Right.
Not many like
Yeah.
super like. I'm not going to have any like a list of like comments that are just hashtags at all. So how do you feel with New Superman?
I only know him from Pearl. I think he was in Pearl.
Yeah.
He was fine. He was very bland, but kind of. But and this is not a knock on Christopher Reeves or anything, but like he was very bland too. So I guess it could work for the Clark Kent stuff. I think I'm actually more worried about what James Gunn is going to do to the universe
See,
than anything else, because I've honestly not been a massive fan of his. So I don't know, but I think people are
I'm,
burnt out, and I think people are just exhausted. And I like the Flash, but when I left the theater, I had a lot of problems with it. The more I thought about it, the more I'm like, this wasn't great, and it could have been great. And the fact that the director says, and beyond the fact that the effects were awful, but then the director says, "Oh, we have a 4-hour cut." No way. There's no way you have a 4-hour cut unless your script was 300 pages. And I doubt your script was 300 pages. So what you're telling me is you had an ass ton of reshoots, and you
which they
had
did.
they had to find the movie in the edit, and the movie feels very choppy and it feels very convoluted. And like, wait, this is the plot of this movie?
Do I need
So
to
I
remind you
feel
of
like,
Snyder's Justice League?
oh no, I mean I know, I'm well aware of it. And look, I'm a Snyder fanboy. I think Man of Steel was great. I loved Batman versus Superman. I think what he was trying to do was really create modern myths, and I think maybe he took it too seriously and people weren't ready for it. But I liked his stuff. I just feel this. I can understand why audiences are whatever about the Flash, especially because he's gone after this. So it doesn't matter. Like Black Adam doesn't matter. Aquaman 2, it doesn't matter. It's just gonna vanish. Blue Beetle, no one's gonna give two craps about Blue Beetle. Maybe Superman Legacy will turn the tide, but who knows? At this point, it's so hard to predict.
Well, I think putting the Authority in, if they're going to like start with them, I'm a big fan of the Authority. Uh, that's the right direction. If people were kind of wondering if this was going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy or a lighter, kind of more comedic style, you just got to look at what's coming, and like you got to look at, okay, Superman and the Authority, and you're like, and if you read the comics, you're like, yeah, this isn't going to be, this is going to go to some place. This is going to go to some places that Gunn hasn't gone to before. I'm actually kind of surprised that you're not more of a Gunn person, because I'm gonna,
Yeah,
you for me, like you kind of, you both kind of started in the trenches, um,
yeah, yeah.
and like in the same style of like kind of filmmaking, like too, like Gunn's like started with Romeo and Juliet, kind of like worked from there type of thing, and did like kind of like was kind of like fly in your face type of like whatever works type thing filmmaker.
Yeah, I just don't like his script writing. The stuff he does with the characters, I really didn't like his Suicide Squad. I didn't like Guardians 3. I thought it was way too bleak for what it should have been. I don't know. I just haven't really been. The only thing I liked that he's made recently is Brightburn, and that's a Superman movie basically.
Yeah,
That
dark,
was
dark.
really good.
Do we know who
Yeah.
Lois is? Do we know Lois yet?
Yeah, they did.
Rachel
Rachel
Brosnahan.
Ann or something like that.
Okay, so the people that we thought where it was going to be,
Yeah,
it is Lex.
they haven't said.
Okay, it's either
No,
Nicholas
no Lex yet.
Skarsgård. So it's up between Skarsgård apparently and Holt. So either way, that's
It's fine.
be honest, man. I know you like Snyder, but it's better than whatever the hell they were Captain America.
Oh yeah. I thought it was I thought it was an interesting choice, and I would have wanted to see where that was going to go, because it was clear they had a plan, and it just got derailed. But it was clear they had a plan with
The
all that
biggest
stuff.
waste for me for all this, and because I'm not as big a Snyder fan, I love some Snyder stuff, but there's some stuff where I'm like, he takes himself a bit too seriously. He went out and did a convention, like kind of the whole thing, a Snyder type of thing, where he showed his
Yeah,
movies, and I was like, kind of rolled my eyes a bit for that.
Why not?
But there's I like some of his stuff. I do think that if they let him do what he wanted to do in the first place and do Superman 2 and not push him to do Batman v Superman, we might have had a different outcome, because you can't, like, yes, you can blame some of the DCEU failure on Zack Snyder, especially because he was super influential, and a lot of people started to make Snyder movies in the same vein as he did, but they're not Zack Snyder, so they're not always going to be as successful making movies in that vein. You got to do your own thing, right? Look at Black Adam. Black Adam's a movie where I'm not sure who directed it, but my God, they love Zack Snyder, but they didn't have the talent that Zack Snyder had. So Black Adam is utter crap. But if they would have let Zack Snyder do what he wanted to do initially, and with make a second Superman movie, and then like kind of build it up, and then get to that nightmare aspect, and then say, at this point, no, you don't. You don't kill Batman. You don't have him like Lois Lane have Batman's baby. No, bad Zack Snyder. You're not doing that. Everything else you want to do, you can do, but you can't do that. Then I'm fine. But yeah, because I thought like you got Henry Cavill, fantastic Superman. I don't think he got enough time as Clark.
Yeah.
And, like Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, that was weird. That was a weird thing to do.
Like I was like, what's up with that? And like
That
people
was
said,
weird. I'll agree with that.
I was like the first person, by the way. I went to Target. Very first thing I bought at Target was the big lenticular Man of Steel, like edition. And
Yeah.
you can remember when after Man of Steel came out, I was on here reviewing it, and I was one of the only people that was giving it a good review. Like I was getting into fights online because I liked it, and other people at the time didn't. I did find that like later on, it didn't hold up as well with previous watching. But when I saw Man of Steel in the theater, it was amazing. It was like going back because I saw like Superman in theater, and it was an incredible time. I felt like that. I felt like, okay, this is really good, but this is it may not be like 100% from my generation, but it doesn't have to be. These have to evolve.
That was me watching the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, she was a fan of Menace. Right?
I defended that piece of crap.
But never forget, and the people put him up against James Gunn and Zack Snyder are friends. Like I'm gonna like pull the curtain across here. James Gunn wrote a Zack Snyder film.
Yep.
What is best film? Dawn of the Dead. Absolutely adore that movie. It's very much, and they're friends behind the scenes. They support each other. So when you put one up against the other, do you if you want to. It's okay, but just understand at the end of the day, like Henry Cavill is going to do Warhammer. He's going to do amazing stuff. I got total faith in Henry Cavill. Zack Snyder is going to go on and do amazing stuff because he's Zack Snyder. And whether you like the DCEU or not, here's the thing: he is a talented filmmaker that has a vision that is uniquely his, and nobody can take that away from him. You don't have to like everything that he does, but you got to give the credit where the credit is due. And I feel the same way with James Gunn. He has unique vision, and and he will do what he likes to do. And we have, for a change, somebody that likes comics in the chair,
Yeah.
and that's going to be.
Well,
that
I
could be,
mean,
but we'll see.
Zack Snyder has a massive, 2-part science fiction movie coming to Netflix called Rebel Moon, which looks incredible. So, he's doing his own thing, which is, phenomenal. So I hope that's something that really explodes and does well, for him, and we get something, iconic that becomes potentially the next Star Wars. You never know. You never know. Like Terrifier, all of a sudden it was part 2 that really took that franchise, and now people know art, and now we have it. All of a sudden we have a new icon.
How do you feel about it? How do you feel about Terrifier 2?
I liked it. I've actually seen it twice. Once by myself, and then once with with my daughter and her friend. They had seen the first one on Netflix, and then my daughter mentioned, "Oh, we saw Terrifier." I'm like, "Oh, what, you did? That's kind of a crazy movie." And then we watched the second one, and they enjoyed it. I think they weren't as grossed out as I thought they would be. I think they laughed and had fun with it. So
that's when a movie gets like that, it gets to that like level of gross, then it's just hilarious.
yeah,
We've had a good year for horror. Like 2022 was a good year. Beginning of 2023, it's kind of slowed down. Shutter's got a lot less than it had in the early part of the year. That could be because AMC, and we've seen like TCM losing a lot of people. We've seen AMC has lost a lot of people. I'm actually kind of surprised that Shutter hasn't been shuttered. But I'm hopeful when it comes to that. Terrifier, I'll be honest, when I saw the first Terrifier movie, I thought Art the Clown is amazing. This story is horrible.
Yeah.
Everybody else around it was like
very simple.
Yeah. But part 2, yeah. It went there. It had to go there. It has like, we're throwing everything at part 2. And
it was too long, but
yeah,
I like the direction it's taking. We'll see what happens.
They're doing a third one. It'll get a bigger response. I'm excited about Maxine, that because I loved X and I loved Pearl. Were you a X or Pearl fan, or?
I'm not crazy about either, to be honest. I thought Pearl honestly was kind of boring. It didn't really do anything for me. If I had to pick one, I'd say X, but I won't be owning either, honestly. It wasn't for me.
No, I mean, I liked, like, from a guy that wanted to be an actor, and studied acting. Like the ending of Pearl, that monologue is something people will be using in the future when they're doing like auditions, like 100%. Like when you're looking at as an actor, like you look at monologues, you remember them because you're thinking, okay, what am I going to use that's different? This is going to be the next one that's people are going to use. That's going to be different when it comes to doing like basically audition tapes and stuff like that, or however like they do audition tapes nowadays. In my day, it was actual audition tapes. Because I remember I got this book at the library. I was doing up my audition tape for I was going for like a Santa Barbara, and I had to do what was it, Rocky, and something from Saturday Night Fever, and something from I think it was Julius Caesar. I think it was like the Friends Romans type of thing, just to give like a different like 3 different takes, 3 different styles. But nowadays, I still look at these things like in that way, and like what I love writing, and I thought it was well written. But yeah, no, Smile, best movie for me last year was Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. A lot of people didn't like it.
Really? Oh, wow.
I loved it. Now, that being said, I did go in with like one of my major like movie crushes, Rachel Sennett from Shiva Baby, being in it. And I was redeemed because she stole every damn scene she was in. She's funny as hell.
Mhm. Yeah.
Did you like Bodies, Bodies, Bodies?
No.
I didn't think you.
Hated it. I hated everybody in that.
Really?
And then when you get to the end of the movie, you're like, son of a bitch. Yeah.
Initially,
yeah.
that wasn't the original ending, and there was going to be a different style ending to it, a more
Oh,
traditional.
really?
But at the last minute, they kind of thought they're going in this weird direction. Let's complete it. So watch it again sometime. Just give it another chance. It's
Maybe.
fun.
We'll see.
Yeah, there you go. Cast me in your next film. That's the thing. We need to do it in Morocco.
There you go.
Lawrence of Arabia, but the kind of Moroccan style.
Yeah.
But you never know. I mean, like, I want to thank you for coming in and staying here so long with me, by the way.
Dude, this is great. It's been a long time since we've had a chat, and especially on the eve of what could, either be a really, amazing sale or a big wet fart of a sale. Either way, it's always fun to discuss it.
It is, and like this, there was a lot to discuss this time. So now you got to decide. You got to go to Mrs. Cass and say, would you like, to spice up the bedroom with a Joe Spinell plushie? There you go.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Saying it to me, and the answer is no.
Apparently, no, we don't spice up the bedroom with Joe Spinell plushie. We tried, guys. We tried.
Oh boy.
So
I'm still expecting you in Morocco with your family. Here.
I don't think I heard you.
Oh, say it.
Yeah.
Oh, she said she's still expecting you in Morocco with your family.
Oh, one day for sure. I definitely want to visit.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for coming in, John. Let's stay here for a few minutes before we go out. And remember, like, share, subscribe. Super chat, super sticker, donate. I do that like we are the world type of thing, but I get copyright, so we're not going to do that. Thank you guys for joining us here tonight. Thank you, Master Chaos, for making this like incredible. And we will see you here. Like Master Chaos, you're doing your thing on Thursday.
Yes.
You're doing our competition videos.
Well, you're on Patreon, so I'll be on YouTube for those who don't have the Patreon.
There you go. So we'll be doing like feel free to drop in. I'll be on here first, and I'm going over to Patreon. I'm not sure when you're going live or not, but we're still working out the kinks of what we're doing for this video. It's always an adventure.
Yes.
So guys, thank you so much for coming in tonight. This has been the Coliseum, and I will see you guys next time right here. God, I guess if nothing happens tomorrow, then Thursday night.